Okay. Hey, hello everyone. How you guys doing? Okay, 1 second here. Uh, okay. How's everyone doing? Okay. Okay, one moment here, everyone. Uh, Crash's yellow, BJ Simeon's, into Simeon's dealership. Thank you, Mr. Waifu. Hi, how's everyone doing? I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Okay. Yeah, I started a lot earlier today. A few people wanted me to start earlier, so I decided to start earlier too. If anybody needs any help selling anything, just you know, message me. I'll help you out. The professional, how did you actually get your PS5 account onto PS3 for GTA 4 multiplayer? Well, there's no such thing as a PS3 account. There's a PlayStation account, and your PlayStation account is the same on everything. PS3, PS4, PS5. So I've had this account since PS3, and I log into a PS3 with it too. Skull, just message me after the, message me right now, and after the stream, I'll add him, because I just can't add people during, live streams, message me, and I could probably add your friend later. Well, I mean, it's earlier for my time, though, Simona. It's much earlier than what I normally start at. Would you ever own a house in Poland? Yeah, I'd be fine with that, too. I mean, I do speak Polish, but I do have a bit of a hard time reading. Surprised you're starting this early. How are you, Pro? Also, working on that script right now. School for me might get cancelled. Also, will you do 100% for GTA San Andreas 20th? For the GTA San Andreas 20th anniversary, I think we might do another playthrough of San Andreas. That's what I think we might do. So I guess we'll see when the playthrough, we might do a playthrough again, another one, because I might want to revisit San Andreas again. My favorite manhunt scene, when you have the showdown with Ramirez and his guys. Thank you, Blinded Eagle. How long ago have you made your PSN? This PSN? I made this PSN in 2009. Oh my god. Alec Baldwin got charged again, I know. Does anyone need help with anything? Right now, just send me an invite. Yeah, I was thinking that was probably due to, snow. Yeah, Fight Night Champion is a lot of fun. Maybe I'll do a video on the multiplayer one day. Might want to do that too. I didn't watch the Napoleon movie. Involuntary manslaughter, Chess. Anyone need help with anything? No? Okay, if no one needs help with anything, then... I just do one hangar mission then for myself. I didn't look, Soren, but I'm not personally much into that PvP stuff. My last griefer encounter, I would have to think about that. If you're talking about on GTA, it was like October, I think. It was October. I encountered this guy that started talking crap in a lobby. The idiot actually sent me a message 1-0. Let's see here. Bro, did Gary Schaefer appear in Manhunt? His voice was there. There is a picture of him on the Manhunt wiki. I don't know how Manhunt wiki got a picture of him, but he doesn't he doesn't appear physically in the game. Okay, I get it. Up, bro. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, Isaiah. How are you, man? Oh, I didn't see your invite, Rex. Well, Rex, I probably missed it then. I'm just gonna do this one hangar crate mission, and then I'll help you right after that, okay, Rex? I don't think Starkweather is the most evil antagonist Rockstar has created. I think the most evil antagonist they've probably created is probably Victor Bronco in Max Payne 3, I would say. Because Victor Bronco got hundreds of people killed. Starkweather maybe got dozens of people killed, but Bronco had gotten hundreds of people killed. I wish you could please do the CD Project Red games, especially Cyberpunk. I could look into that one day. I know that has been a heavily requested game on my channel. If I ever do Cyberpunk, it's probably going to get very popular, because a lot of people have requested it. But I'll look into it. But Marsoff, honestly speaking, the reason I haven't really gotten into Cyberpunk is I've never just been much into futuristic games. But I could definitely look into it. Okay, here we go. Go to La Mesa. Okay. On the regular civilian Kanata because it can take 4 people and it's actually really fast. Getting in? Okay, here we go. On the previous part, Cash told the journalist, "You are my backup. If I don't make it, have a nice life." Why did he say that? When he says that the journalist is his backup, what he basically means is that if he doesn't make it out, if Cash doesn't make it out alive, that the journalist can get revenge for him by publishing the story. Starkweather will face consequences regardless. That's what he means. I have been slacking. I haven't gone to the gym in weeks, though, NBA. I should go back. Will we eventually get a Red Dead Redemption 1 multiplayer stream? I wonder how good it was for me for its time, and I'll probably buy it on PS4 to relive the story. Yeah, I will, I'll do a Red Dead Redemption multiplayer stream one day. When did Red Dead Redemption 1 tape come out? Did Red Dead Redemption 1 come out in, like, May? Like, it was, like, a May 2010, I think it was. So I might just play it on the anniversary. Will I play Manhunt 2? Yeah, I'll look into it. Wait, don't take down the generator yet. Oh. Crap, okay. What is the worst thing I encountered on YouTube? What do you mean by that? Do you mean, like, what's the worst thing I've seen on YouTube? Or what do you mean, like, what's the worst thing that I've seen, like, you know, happen on my channel? Like, what do you mean by that? Can you explain a little bit more? Okay. Let's see here. Probably worst thing on my channel. It's okay. Don't worry about it, man. It's okay. It's not a big deal. What I would say is the worst thing that I think I encountered on my channel personally is when I had people that would harass me non-stop when I wouldn't play GTA Online. So, basically what happened was, if you've been watching my channel for, like, the past 2 years, you probably don't know what I'm talking about, but if you've watched the channel for, I would say, more than 3 years, you probably know what I'm talking about, where basically in the past, like, you know, years ago, we're talking, like, 2017, 2018, 2019, and, like, half of 2020, is I did mostly, just GTA Online content, so I would just post pretty much just GTA Online content, and what happened is, it got really popular, we had a lot of, you know, views, a lot of people were liking my channel, coming to my channel, but then what ended up happening was, I started, like, playing some other games, I started doing some other content, playing other games, and I would still do the GTA content, but I was just doing some other games from time to time. And basically what happened was I would have these people that would just come into the chat and they would just freak out and they would just make a scene and they would just constantly talk crap and just post really insulting comments whenever I wouldn't play GTA Online. So if I just posted, like, and these people, I'm telling you guys, a lot of these people were extremely unreasonable because it was like, for example, I could post, like, a GTA Online video in that same day, and then, like, a few hours later, I could post, like, something completely different. Like, I'll post a GTA Online video, people will love it, and then a few hours later, I'll post, like, a Sniper Elite video, and what will happen is, like, people would come to that Sniper Elite video and just post, like, on the comment section, like, saying, like, oh, you know, this game sucks, you know, Sniper Elite sucks, play GTA Online, I don't want to see this game, play GTA Online or I'm gonna unsubscribe. And some of these comments cursed me out, so those were some of the lesser toxic comments, but then I saw other comments that were, like, cursing me out just because I didn't do a GTA Online video. And so this was, like, on a massive scale. I would have people that would, like, they would show up to my videos and they would just downvote them instantly, not for any other reason other than the fact that it wasn't a GTA video. That's literally what people would downvote the videos for. And I would ask people, like, I'm like, you know, why are you disliking the video? Can you tell me so I can improve? And they're like, oh, the video isn't GTA Online. And I was, like, thinking to myself, like, really? You're like, you're gonna dislike the video just because it's not GTA Online? Like, that's not a real, like, legitimate reason to dislike a video. If it's like, if you're gonna dislike a video, at least give, like, a valid reason. Like, the video was too short, it was too long, it was, you know, it had, you know, the video wasn't good itself, you know, the editing could have been better, you know, stuff like that. You know, but just disliking something just because it's not the game that you want to see, that is just, I just thought that was a bit ridiculous. But basically, when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, and I started playing Red Dead Redemption 2, what happened was I had told people that when Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out, that I will be playing, you know, Red Dead content. I'll be doing Red Dead content. And what happened was, I didn't get much of a response. But then when Red Dead Redemption 2 actually did come out, I had gotten so much dislikes. Like you guys can't see the dislikes anymore, but like when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, my Red Dead videos got dislike bombed. Like, I would say, like most Red Dead Redemption 2 videos was, like, 30% of it was, like, dislikes. And there was nothing really wrong with the videos, but it was the fact that people were just coming into the videos and just basically spamming dislikes just because it wasn't GTA. No, I know about the super chats. I'm gonna read them in just one moment. I was just, you know, telling the story. A person was asking me what the worst thing that I encountered on my channel was, but, which slaver is more monstrous in Fallout? Eulogy Jones of Paradise Falls or Edward Sallows, the current Caesar of the Arizona Legion in New Vegas? I would say Caesar is worse because of the fact that Caesar, you know, Caesar had done this on a grand scale, like, you know, much more. Eulogy Jones is still a horrible person, but Caesar had been responsible for thousands and thousands and thousands of slaves. It was probably much more than what Eulogy Jones did. So Caesar was the worser person. I'm from Argentina, where 1,000 pesos is $1.22, and the highest banknote, the 2,000 peso, won $2.44. I'm sorry if I didn't contribute enough. No, it's okay, Marsoff. You don't have to, Marsoff. You don't listen to me, man. You don't have to apologize to me ever. And for a super chat, don't ever apologize for that. It's perfectly fine, man. And also, I want you to know that I don't want you to feel like you're obligated to donate to me. Please don't feel like that. Like, no, whatever amount that you donate, I always greatly appreciate it. No matter the amount, I always greatly appreciate it. So don't ever feel like you donated too little or something like that. You don't even have to donate to me at all. I don't want you to feel like you have to donate to me for me to read your comment or talk to you. I always appreciate any donation that people give, but I never push people for donations. I never ask for donations. It is an option, but I do greatly appreciate it. But I don't want you to feel like you have to do that. Please don't. It's perfectly fine, man. I always appreciate every amount, and you've given me, you know, 2 big super chats already on this stream today. So, you know, don't worry about it, man. I greatly appreciate it. You know, I don't pull crap like some of those other YouTubers. I don't ask for donations, and I don't, like, guilt trip people into that stuff. So, I do appreciate it, man, but don't feel bad. Thank you, It's Ant, for the super chat. Tips for getting a permit. When you say permit, what are you talking about? I'm assuming you're talking about a car. Most people talk about a car when they're saying permit, right? Well, in the United States, in most places, you would just basically, you know, you go to the DMV, you take a 10-question test, multiple choice, and if you answer that correctly, you can then drive a car if you have a licensed driver in the car with you. And so then once you, you know, once you take the license, you can drive, and you pass the license, you can drive the car without having a licensed driver inside with you. Bro, I was curious, can we play Modern Warfare 3 again? Well, thank you for the super chat, Mark, but honestly, I don't really play Modern Warfare 3 much. I play Modern Warfare 2 a lot, if that makes sense. I'm most of the time, if I'm playing Call of Duty, 90% of the time when I'm playing Call of Duty, I'm on DMZ. That's all I'm doing is pretty much DMZ on Modern Warfare 2. So that I'm always open to playing with people, but, I got a bit frustrated. I got a bit frustrated on DMZ last night. Thank you, Isaac, for the super chat. There was this, basically, we had gotten jumped by a 4-man squad in Ashika Island, and what happened was I killed 2 out of the 4 squad members, the hostile squad. My friend killed the 3rd guy, and then what happened was my friend had a medic vest, and he was reviving me. and I told the random in our squad, I'm like, cover my friend, he's reviving me, you know, make sure he's okay. And what does the random in our squad do? He just runs off. Does not even cover us. He starts just looting bodies. Just starts looting bodies of, like, the people that we just killed. It's like, you never loot bodies until you make sure you completely wipe out a squad. Once the squad is completely wiped out, that's when you loot bodies. You don't loot bodies but... Anyways, my friend that was reviving me got shot and killed by the 4th guy, and then the 4th guy came up behind the other guy when he ran away and killed him, and we lost to that, and I was a bit annoyed on stuff like that. Who needs, oh, let me help, Bench here. Yes, I have. Who was it? Who needed help? Rex needed help, right? Rex, do you still need help, man? Let me know. Message me. Do you still need help? The thing about this is I actually did not do a Chop Shop, robbery this week, but the second I logged in, I got the weekly challenge completed anyways.
We sell.
I like how it spawned my vehicle out here. That's nice. Get in the helicopter. This is one of the fastest helicopters in the game. You ever get sick of GTA? I had gotten severely burnt out from GTA. When I got severely burnt out from GTA, I stopped playing it for like a year. And then a year later, when I came back to it, it was a lot better. So it was, it was much better at that point. But no, I'm back in GTA Online, and, one of the things that has greatly helped with my burnout on GTA Online, one thing that's helped me out tremendously, is the fact that that you can now play in you know, friend sessions. You can play in friend sessions, and you can sell in these sessions, and you don't have to worry about, you know, scumbags joining and blowing you up constantly. So that's or MYB play GTA 6, turn off comments until you're done, or maybe play. You mean maybe. But I'm telling you guys, is when GTA 6 comes out, I will not be able to fully enjoy that story. I won't. Because I will have some idiot is going to spoil the GTA 6 story for me. It just comes with one of the things of being a YouTuber, is people spoil games for you. It's just going to happen. So I'm going to have some idiot that's going to come into, like, you know, comment on my channel, and I'm eventually going to read the comment, and it's going to give him some massive spoiler in GTA 6, and it's going to ruin it for me. That's what happened with Red Dead Redemption 2. When Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, I had people spamming, like, Red Dead Redemption 2 spoilers in the comments. And so this exact same thing is going to happen with GTA 6. I guarantee people are going to try to spoil the story for me and ruin it for me. I hear you had a tough stream. Sorry, I wasn't there. No, it's okay, Fernando. There was some guy that kept spamming Manhunt spoilers, Manhunt 2 spoilers last night, but thankfully I didn't read any of them. I just, I kicked the guy in the chat. But people in the chat warned me about that. But it's okay, Fernando. You don't have to apologize. You should be proud that you doubled down on your new content. I actually wanted new content when we released top 5 non-GTA open world games then. Yeah, and the thing about that is the playthroughs have been a massive success on the channel. Like the cosplay playthroughs that I've done, that's like one of my best ways of expanding content. They have been very, very successful. People look at my playthroughs and they typically think that they're not successful. They're like, oh, this part got 10,000 views, or this part got like 5,000 views. But what they don't understand about playthroughs is that playthroughs take time to grow. And so if you go back to some of those playthroughs over time, you will notice they get a ton of views. Like some of the Saints Row 2 playthroughs, like the Saints Row 2 playthrough parts I got over 100,000 views. And that's like, you know, going like, you know, 2 years into it. So those get really popular over time. People find those playthroughs over time and they subscribe, and there are people in my comment section that I've noticed that don't even know me from the GTA Online content. They just know me from the playthroughs. So that's that has shown that I have successfully expanded my channel into like other content too when I found when that's happened. The crazy thing about this is I met this British guy once when I was playing Hell Let Loose. It's a World War II game, and he actually told me that he actually watches my channel. He was very surprised that I was in the same session with him. Basically, he told me that he only, he found me through the playthroughs, and I asked him, how did you find me? And he said, oh, I found you through the Medal of Honor Rising Sun playthroughs. So the old World War II games that I did, he found me through that. And, I asked him if he watches any of my other stuff, and he basically said, no, I only really watch your World War II game playthroughs. So, he found me through, like, some of the World War II games that I did. But that was, like, that shows that, like, there are other people that are finding my channel besides just through GT Online. Thank you, Isaac, for the super chat. And, hey, Pro, is Cayo Perico worth it in 2024? It's still worth doing, Isaac. It's been nerfed, and the guards are getting annoying, but it's still, I would say it's still worth doing. Yep. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for it again, Isaac. Thoughts on Troy Baker playing Indiana Jones? Isn't that the guy who does Joel in The Last of Us? What, they're doing another Indiana Jones movie? Thank you, Blinded Eagle. What do you think your ideal GTA game will be? I would say a game, I would say my ideal GTA game would probably be a game that focuses on the dark criminal underworld. So with Vice City, with GTA 6 being in Vice City, I would like to see something focused on the drug trade, like smuggling boats off the coast of Vice City, you know, smuggling of drugs and stuff like that, maybe like massive drug deals. I don't want to see just heist spam, but I think that a huge portion of the story is probably going to be heist spam. That's what I think is probably going to happen. Thank you, son of a pirate. The hoods in Manhunt wear whatever bags that's clean, whether that be balaclava, big socks, random bags, and also, oh. Oh, thank you, London, for the super chat. People have told me to play the bonus missions in Manhunt. I should check those out. Professional Sheep Taco Man 2024, Improving America. Thank you, Own Titan. Thank you for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. Hey, Pro, you got any thoughts on John Brown now? Yeah, I did read up a little bit about him. From what I've read, from what most people were saying about him, most people consider him a hero. You know, he fought to get rid of slavery. He did fight to free slaves. I did read a few historical notes that during his rebellion, a few innocent people had gotten killed. So that's probably where the controversy comes in with him. But I would say that John Brown, like, leading a revolt to help end slavery and, like, freeing slaves, I don't think that he's a bad person necessarily. He did good things. You know, he tried to help free people. Few innocent people, unfortunately, might have gotten killed in that conflict, but I would say that his intentions were good, ultimately. So that's what I would say reading about him. Hoods and Smileys aren't as bad as Hoods and Smileys aren't as bad as Skins, War Dogs, or Innocents, although they're still bad people. Hoods are hired muscles, and Smileys are insane. Well, Hoods are basically like street gangsters. Thank you, Mr. Waifu, for the super chat. I subscribe to your channel. Thank you, Alessio, for subscribing. I appreciate it, man. Rex, do you need help still selling? Which Elder Scrolls game is your favorite? I would say probably Skyrim, but Oblivion is still a really good game too. But you know what I'll tell you is the unfortunate thing. Here's what I'll tell you about Elder Scrolls. Let me. No, I read Mr. Waifu's super chat there. Oh, and does selling to street dealers give you more money? Thank you, Terry. I will show you that in a little bit, Terry. But basically, every single street dealer has a specific product that they specialize in. So not all street dealers will give you the same amount of money. But when you go to the street dealers, look at what's a gold star. I think it's a gold star. I think that's a symbol. Because one of the products, whether it's weed, coke, whatever it is, they will be willing to buy that with a gold star. If it's a gold star, they're willing to pay you more than normally. I still think that if you sell it in bulk in a business, you get more money, especially if you sell in a populated session. But if you are going to be selling to the dealers, if you're going to be selling to the dealers in GTA Online, only sell the product that has the gold star to the dealers. Don't sell the other ones. It's not worth it. So only sell the ones that have the gold star. Do you know that in the UK and Ireland before 1971, they used a different money system that was pounds, shillings, and pence, where a pound was 20 shillings and a shilling was 12 pence, and before 61, a penny was four farthings? No, I didn't know that. Thank you, Marcel, for the super chat. Thank you, man. They used that seems like that would be very confusing, and that seems like that would be really bad for the economy, too. You know, three different identifiers of money, or three different values of money, I would say. But it's, I'm assuming they don't use that anymore today. Let me see here. And I was gonna answer, and I was gonna answer Acid Dust's question. Acid Dust. So about Elder Scrolls, here's what I'll tell you about Elder Scrolls. Is Skyrim is arguably the best Elder Scrolls game in the series. However, though, I will say that you have those people, and it's the same thing with GTA 5. It's the same exact concept where you have those people that are convinced that GTA 5 is the absolute best GTA game in the series, and they will not willing to look at any other games. Even if another GTA game did something better, they are not willing to look at it. So, Skyrim, in my opinion, is the best, you know, Elder Scrolls game. However, though, there are things that Oblivion did better than Skyrim that people don't know about. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Have you played the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim and in Oblivion? The Dark Brotherhood questline in Oblivion was so much better than the Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim. The Dark Brotherhood questline in Skyrim just felt rushed. It didn't feel like it just wasn't that interesting in it. I would say probably the most interesting thing in the entire quest line was killing the Emperor. I think that was probably the most interesting quest line in the Skyrim storyline. But the Oblivion storyline was, like, so much better, because the Oblivion storyline, like, you interacted with the characters in the Sanctuary just, like, way more. And so there was, like, all this entire, like, you know, big group. Then you had to kill all of them. I remember that. You had to kill the entire Sanctuary. And then there was, like, you were getting orders from Lucien Lachance, and then there was, like, a traitor. So, like, the storyline in Oblivion for the Dark Brotherhood was way better. And not only that, the Thieves Guild storyline. The Thieves Guild storyline, that was way better in Oblivion, too. That was much better. I would say the faction that's better in Skyrim than in Oblivion is the Companions. The Companions replaced the Fighters Guild in Skyrim. There is no Fighters Guild, it's the Companions. The Companions are 10 times better than the Fighters Guild. 10 times better. However, though, the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild are better in Oblivion than they are in Skyrim. I always thought that. I thought the Thieves Guild in the Dark Brotherhood in Oblivion was just always way better than the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood in Skyrim. That's just my opinion on it. Well, they gave us Lucien Lachance's ghost because Lucien Lachance was a very popular character. But here's the thing about this is the Dark Brotherhood Dark Brotherhood speakers that were in Oblivion, all of them were going to die regardless when the traitor appeared, because they killed Lucien Lachance, who Lucien Lachance was like the Night Mother's favorite speaker. She loved Lucien Lachance. And so she was just absolutely furious about that, and Siphus was absolutely furious about that. So those speakers were going to die regardless. Let me see here. I would do a Warriors playthrough one day, yes. How did you get better at sticking up for yourself? Honestly speaking, what I'll tell you, to answer your question, why don't you play Skyrim then on your channel? Because Skyrim is an extremely long game. Like, it's very, very long. It's like, Skyrim is probably the longest game that I've ever played. The main quest itself isn't that long, but if you count, like, all the other stuff in it, it's the longest game that I've ever played. It has more content than Red Dead Redemption 2 in it. What I will say about it is, I will play Elder Scrolls games on the channel one day. I'll do that. But if I do an Elder Scrolls playthrough on the channels one day, what we're gonna do is we're gonna do different playthroughs through the same game. So we're gonna do like one playthrough for just like the main quest, one playthrough for like the Dark Brotherhood, one playthrough for just like the Thieves Guild, like stuff like that, because those are all just so long, and it's just like putting it in just like one giant playthrough is going to confuse the hell out of people. So if I separate it into like Thieves Guild playthrough, Dark Brotherhood playthrough, it'll just be a lot easier to watch. But to answer your question, how did you get better at sticking up for yourself? Thank you, Ryan. I will answer that in just 1 second here. Another thing in Manhunt. In Deliverance, Lionel Starkweather had a .38 revolver to defend himself, though you didn't even give him a chance to use it. Oh, I didn't notice he had a .38 to defend himself with. But yeah, I wanted to just basically see what he was gonna if he was gonna beg. That's precisely why I chased him around the room. But to answer your question now, Ryan, how did I get better at sticking up for myself? How I got better, let me see here, oh, I'm helping somebody else now. Okay, Rex. Well, Rex, if you need help with anything else, just let me know and I'll help you out, man. Now to answer your question, how did I get better at standing up for myself? Sorry that this took so long for me to answer this one. But, basically, how I got better at standing up for myself is I went through something that nobody should have to go through. And that is that I got pushed around so much, and I got used so much, and people took advantage of me so much. And so it's because of that, I basically just, changed. Because people would constantly just use me so much and take advantage of me so much. It happened at my job, especially. At my job, I would have people that would take advantage of me all the time. They just, constantly asking me for favors over and over again, having to do their work. They would never, and when I needed a favor, they were never there. They were never there to help me. Nobody was ever there to help me when I needed it, but they would constantly ask me for favors, and then if I said I couldn't help, they would act like I'm a bad person. It would just try to guilt trip me constantly. It was really annoying. What I would say is, I have a tactic now that I pretty much use, and that is to stop people from taking advantage of you. And this tactic will pretty much work for, let me see, where is Venge's business here? Over there, okay. So this tactic, and just listen to this, guys. This tactic that I have, this tactic will prevent people from taking advantage of you. It'll very easily be able to tell you who's taking advantage of you and who's a friend. It has not failed me yet. It is very effective. But basically, here's what I do to make sure that people don't take advantage of me. Is if somebody asks me for a favor, and for a favor I mean something that I don't have to do, but they're asking me to do it anyways for them as like a favor. If somebody asks me for a favor just one time, I will help them with whatever they need help with. So if somebody asks me for a favor, I'll help them with whatever they need help with. And then what I will do is I will wait. And when I need help with something, I will instantly call on that person who asked me for help with their favor, and just see how they react. So if somebody asks you for help with a favor, help them. But then when you need a favor, ask that same exact person for help, and just see how they react. It's a very good way of telling if that person is using you or not. And if they basically try to get around it, if they basically try to say, oh, you know, I'd love to help you, but I can't help you right now, I'm busy with stuff, that's what people usually do to try to get around it, to try to get around not helping you, because they're hoping that you do it anyways without them, and then they don't have to help you. So they're hoping that basically that by saying, oh, I can't help you right now, you know, I'm gonna be busy this week, or, you know, something like that. It could be true, you never know, but a really easy way to get around that is you just tell them this, you just say this to them, you say, okay, you know, when are you going to be free? I'll wait for you. When are you going to be free to help me? Just because that will completely catch them off guard. They won't expect you to say that. And when they, and at that point, if they try to still make, if they still make excuses at that point, well, I don't know, you know, I'm going to, you know, be busy for like a few weeks, something like that, they're using you. They are not your friend. Cut contact with that person. Don't use, don't help them anymore. Don't associate with that person anymore. Because if they tell you, oh, I can't help you right now because I'm busy with something else, just say to them, when are you going to be free? When are you going to be able to help me? And if they don't give you a specific time, a specific date that they're going to be free, a specific date, at that point they're using you. I've used that basically to figure out when people are using you or not, and it has been effective. It has worked. So that's what I say is that if they, and next time that person asks you for help with something, basically just say to them, oh, I can't, I'm busy. Do the exact same thing they did. The exact same thing. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to give them a reason. They say they're busy, you say you're busy. That's it. Because I will tell you something. Even if somebody is busy, even if somebody is truly busy, if somebody else has helped you, you have an obligation. You have an obligation to help them in the future. You know, I believe a lot in honor, personally. And so if somebody helps you out, you have an obligation to help them out in the future if they need help with something. And if they're not willing to help you out in the future at that point, then I would just say cut contact. And so even if that person is busy, they will do their absolute best. If they truly valued your friendship and they truly valued you helping them, they will try their absolute best to help make time for you, to help you. That's what I would say about it. You just gave manipulators tips that are listening here. Not really. I basically told people not to get exploited. You know, that if somebody is asks you for a favor, just the first time they ask you for a favor, help them. And then the next time that you need help for a favor, ask them for help and see how they react. And if they tell you, oh, I can't help you right now, I'm busy, just ask them what day they are free, when they can help you. And if they still give you excuses at that point, then they've been using you. That's basically what I've learned from just reading people. Let me see here. Lester or Dave Norton, who's worse? I would say probably Lester, yeah. And Lester's done us a lot more worse things than Dave Norton. Hello, happy Sunday, brother. What do you think being able to get a Skyrim DLC from the PS Store so you have it on PS3 since Special Edition, PS4 upwards? Well, if you bought a DLC for the PS3 version, you should still have it for the for all of the versions that come out. But I think the Special Editions come with all the DLCs, though, Blade. I think they do. I could be wrong. Wait, what didn't come out right? London? Is Claude's last name actually Speed? How do we know? No, Claude Speed, I think, is the guy that's in GTA Advance. Correct me if I'm wrong. He has a similar name to the Claude in GTA 3, but it's not the same one. Has someone ever tried to scam you in the street, begging you for taxi money so they can get to a hospital? Oh, GTA 2, okay. Have I seen scams on the streets before? Yes. I have seen it. But, two times that I can recall that I've seen scams, on the streets. The first time is, or recently, I still have that real-life video coming out. So that real-life video that I got coming out for you guys, it's gonna be a location that a video game location that I visited in real life. So there's a video game, there's one video game that I played, and I visited the location for that video game in real life, and I still got to edit it. I still got to make a video out of it. It was like, you know, half an hour of me recording that location. But anyways, about it is I walked into a store so I could buy a selfie stick, because I was stupid, because I had forgotten to bring my selfie stick with me, so I took that huge trip and I forgot my selfie stick with me, so I went into a store, I bought a selfie stick. As I walk out of the store, not even 5 seconds that I'm out of the store, this guy, like, stops me on the streets, and I guess he was just waiting for somebody to come out of the store, because he probably sees that they have money, and what happens is, the guy starts, like, telling me some, like, weird stuff. Like, he starts telling me, he's like, oh, I'll give you a pin, the pin is free, you know, I'll put it on your boot, and stuff like that, and I was like, no, and he keeps pushing me. He's like, the pin is free, like, he keeps repeating himself. I'm like, no, I don't want it, I'm good, I'm fine. Now, I don't know if that was a scam or not, but in my experience personally, when somebody, like, on the street harasses you to take free stuff, it is some kind of scam, typically. And so I don't know what that pin thing was, if that was like a scam or something like that, but he's like, oh, take the pin, it's free, like, he kept pushing me, and I said, no, I don't want it, and after the third time that I said, no, I don't want it, he approached the next guy that walked right out of the store and said, do you want a pin, it's free, the exact same thing again. So I don't know what that scam was, maybe somebody in the comments knows what that was about. It was like a pin that he would put on your shoe. I don't know what that was, but I felt like there was something off about that. I felt like there was something wrong. I felt like it was some kind of scam. I just felt in my gut that there was something wrong with it. The other time that I have encountered a scam is, wait, did I get an invite to the business? Oh, I did. The other time that I have encountered a scam is, there was this, I've encountered the mechanic scam. For anybody who's been in a mechanic before, you've probably encountered the mechanic scam. The mechanic scam is when they basically tell you stuff that, they tell you stuff that there's something wrong with your car when there's nothing wrong with your car, typically when you bring it in for an inspection, and they basically try to sell you a bunch of new parts that you don't need for your car. So I've seen that before. And how do I know that it was a scam? I know that it was a scam because when my dad had brought his car in, he wanted to get it inspected once, a mechanic had basically just, you know, told him, oh, this part is bad, this part is bad, this part is bad. And what we did was, there was this one kid that I went to high school with, and I knew that he worked with his dad in, like, an auto shop that was, like, 20 minutes away, and so me and my dad went to the exact same auto shop, and you know, he was a pretty friendly kid, but anyways, what happened was, when we went to the auto shop, you know, his dad was there, and he looked at the car, and all we basically had to do was pay for the inspection fee, and that was it. He said there was absolutely nothing wrong with the car, that the transmission was good, everything was fine, and I asked him about the parts that the other mechanic was, you know, telling me about, and he basically just told me that those parts were old. And he said that there's nothing wrong with old stuff in the car, and that what people will typically do in the mechanic scam is they'll point to old parts, and they'll basically say, oh, this part is old, you're gonna get this changed. But just because something is old does not mean that you need to get it changed. The only time you need to get something changed is when it's not working. That's the only time you need to get something changed. Just because something is old doesn't mean that you have to get it replaced. And so that basically is what the mechanic scam is that mechanics have a notorious reputation in the field. A lot of times people think that car mechanics are scammers, just because of just how bad the scamming is. Like, the scamming is so common in the mechanic field that it's just gotten sort of control. When it's on your shoe, they try to say you bought it and follow you, trying to make you pay for it. Oh, that's what the scam is? Oh, I thought that the pin boot scam, I thought there was a pickpocket scam. That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought they were going to try to pickpocket you as they were, like, putting something on your shoe. That's basically what I thought it was. But you're saying to me that they're going to aggressively follow you and tell you to get to pay for it? I guess that's, yeah, that's probably the, yeah, you got a point there, probably. That's probably what the scam is. I don't want to buy a whole console just for DLC. I agree with you, Blade. It's stupid. You missed my super chat from a while ago. Oh, I'm sorry, LCPD. Let me look. I apologize. If I didn't see it, I'm sorry, man. Let me look. Why do you think the LSPD is so aggressive? Honestly, it's probably bad AI, design for GTA 5. I think the police in GTA 4 were like a challenge, but it wasn't like ridiculous. So I think that's what I would just personally say about it. How do I play with you? Please respond. Well, to play with me in these sessions, you would have to have me added, because I play with people that are my friends list. I'm always adding new people like every month. But the thing about this is, I would love to play in a public session, but unfortunately, dude, I can't. Because if I played with you in a public session, what would probably happen is your stuff would probably get blown up. If I tried to help you sell anything, we probably would not even be able to get halfway through the sell mission without it getting blown up. It would just that's just what would happen. So I have to play in these friend sessions because of just the fact that when I did play in public sessions in the past, I would have people basically follow me constantly, and they would just blow me up, like, just over and over again. They would pretend to be friendly, they'd be like, oh, let's here to help sell, and they would just constantly blow stuff up. And that was, so that's just why I have to play in these private sessions now, because I can't sell in any other session. So I just hope you understand that, dude. You should do a lore video on Mafia Definitive Edition. I actually did want to do that. I wanted to do one on Don Salieri. That's what I wanted to do one. I wanted to do one on Don Salieri and, you know, explain his backstory a bit. Thank you, Matthew, for the super chat. It could be Aki. Okay, Rex. Why does the New York Mafia dislike the New Jersey Mafia? Because the New Jersey Mafia it's not as strong as the New York Mafia. And it's because they also feel like they're superior because they're from New York. That's also part of it too. You should charge $20 per spot on your invite-only sessions so only real fans would join. No, I would never do something like that. I play with people that are on my friends list, so I constantly add people. I don't charge people to play with me, no. It's just, no. I wouldn't do something like that. I do add people who are, like, you know, Patreon supporters and channel members, but you don't have to, you know, donate to me for me to, like, add you. Like, I've added people from the chat before in the past. So I constantly always make room for people in my, on my friends list, but it pisses me off because PlayStation only allows 2,000 friends, and so I constantly have to remove somebody that's been offline for like a year, but I do constantly add people. How do I friend you? You're full on friends. Well, Arlo, since you asked, since I saw your comment first today, I will add you. Just let me know what your PSN is. Just tell me what your PSN is. And after the stream today, I will add you. Oh no, I agree with you, Mark. You know, nobody should be doxing anybody, even if that person's a scumbag. It should, you know, nobody should be doing that to anybody. I agree with you, Mark. And not all mechanics are scumbags. I understand that, but the thing about it is that there have been so many scammers with mechanics that it's just so common. Like there was a video that I watched on YouTube once where it was there was this woman who had like a simple problem with her car. I don't remember what it was. It was like a simple fix, but what was the problem that was wrong with the car? They intentionally caused a problem. So this woman, she intentionally caused a problem with her car. It was like a very small problem. And the reason she intentionally caused a problem with her car, it was to see if mechanics could fix it. and it was a test to see if they'd be honest. So like any decent mechanic, I forget what the issue was with the car, but the point is whatever she did to the car, it was something that could be easily fixed. So it wasn't something that was like it wasn't something that was like you know, bad. But any mechanic could like tell you what was wrong with the car. I think you're thinking of the CBC Marketplace video. Yeah, it was Canada. That's what I remember. It was Canada. And what happened was that car, they had numerous people that looked at the car, like experts. So like for the TV show, they had like numerous people look at the car, like numerous mechanics, and the mechanics that looked at it on the TV show said like the only thing that's wrong with this is this, you know, this small part here. That's it. There's nothing else that's wrong with the car. And the woman takes the car to like several mechanics, and all the mechanics are basically just saying like, oh, this part is wrong, this part is wrong, this is bad, when it was when all those other parts weren't wrong. There was nothing wrong with the car. What froze? Thank you, Arlo. Arlo, tell me, did you tell me what your PSN is? Because I don't think you told me what your PSN is. Did you? Just post it again if you didn't. I am off on Saturday and you mean Saturday and Sunday, I think, right? If you had an Xbox One, I would love to, I would be on your session. I'm the type to be on my own for business, and we sell. Well, Kintaro, I don't play GT Online on Xbox. However, though, what I do play online on Xbox is I play Saints Row 2. So if you play Saints Row 2 online, I can play with you on that. Why do scammers lack a conscience? How can they scam vulnerable people and sleep soundly at night? Yeah, what I'll tell you about this is what advice do you need, Aki? What I will here's what I'll is the nail in the tire the most common mechanic scam? I don't know what that is. Holland play. But anyways, here's about why do scammers have just no conscience whatsoever, that they're willing to scam people like this and sleep soundly at night. What I will tell you is, I think that from what I've seen dealing with these scammers is these scammers. Oh, thank you, Kintaro. I need a PS5. Well, thank you for the super chat. About the scammers is, a lot of these scammers are from and when I'm talking about these scammers, I'm talking about the phone scammers. So when we talk about like there's a few if you're talking about like the mechanic scammers, basically they justify it to themselves in their mind. They're basically thinking, this is good for my business, this is good for me, and they don't think about the customer. So if you're talking like the car mechanics that like scam people, you know, they basically think, oh, this is good for my business, I'm making money, and I'm also providing a service. That's what they basically think in their mind. Even though they're not really providing a service, they're basically scamming their customers. They might fix your car, but they're gonna overcharge you for the parts. When it comes to like the phone scammers, when you're like the gift card scammers, like those people that people pretend to be the IRS, or like the romance scammers, like, you know, those people typically, like the romance scammers and the gift card scammers, those people are typically not in the United States, and what they typically think of is they typically think that Americans are rich people. That's what they typically think, and so they think, oh, you know, if I take like, you know, $500 from some American, you know, that's not really gonna hurt them, because Americans are just rich people in general. And so they think, oh, it's not gonna hurt them, it's not that big of a deal. Americans are rich people, you know, they can take a hit. And so that's what a lot of the scammers basically think in their mind. They think that Americans are like some wealthy people, and they think that it's perfectly acceptable to steal. Where the mechanic puts a nail in the tire and tells you need to replace the tires? Oh, I haven't heard of that, but I'm not surprised. Your cargo drop didn't work? Okay, hang on. Oh, it's working now. Have people scammed you before? I have been scammed, recently. But thankfully I got my money back from Amazon. But basically what I got scammed with recently, I got scammed on Amazon from a third-party seller. And I got scammed even like a year and a half ago. I got scammed also, but I got my money back in both instances. Basically, I got scammed in November because what happened was, and forgive me guys, I'm not a technology person. You know, you'd think that I'm a technology person because I'm a YouTuber, but I'm actually not really that good with technology. So I'm not even that really good with, I don't know the smartphones that well either. But anyways, what happened was, I wanted to buy a new USB flash drive. And so I just looked up on Amazon what the biggest flash drives was. And I looked up, like, you know, terabyte flash drives. And I got, like, a 2 terabyte flash drive that was recommended to me on Amazon. It had 5 stars. 5 stars. And I purchased a 2 terabyte flash drive. I should have read the 1-star reviews. But I just saw 5 stars. It was like, it was on sale. They said it was on sale, and so I purchased it. Now, the 2 terabyte flash drive, it was fake. The 2 terabyte flash drive did not have 2 terabytes in it. When you actually put this flash drive into your computer, it looks like it has 2 terabytes. The computer says it has 2 terabytes, but it doesn't actually have 2 terabytes. So basically, I got scammed for 40 bucks on that. I complained to Amazon. Amazon refunded me my money. I had to drop it off. But basically, that's how I got scammed. And I tracked the scam down. I made a video on it. So I made a video tracking the scammers down, who actually made that fake flash drive, and the scammers were actually in China. So it was like factories in China that were basically putting out like fake flash drives, and they were selling them through third-party people on Amazon, but pretending to be like 2 terabyte flash drives. One of my friends told me that there's really no such thing as 2 terabyte flash drives. They're very rare, and so I did not know about that. I thought that they existed, so I made a really stupid decision by doing that. But it was my fault. I should have, you know, researched the flash drive more before purchasing it. But I've learned my lesson, and I'm not going to purchase flash drives that are, you know, not... I'm only going to purchase name brand flash drives that are well-known companies. And, the other time that I got scammed is... I got scammed, a year and a half ago. I think maybe like 2 years ago at this point. Basically, what happened was I wanted to buy an Xbox One so that I could play backwards compatibility on Saints Row 1. And what happened was, when I purchased an Xbox One on eBay. Sor, can you please make this drop? So I purchased an Xbox One on eBay. And I thought that I had gotten a good deal for it. I paid a little bit over $100 for it. It was, you know, it was an auction. And I paid for the auction. And I, you know, won it for a little bit over $100. I thought I got a good deal on it. Anybody here know what do you guys think was wrong with the Xbox One that I purchased? It wasn't that it was broken. But what do you guys think was wrong with the Xbox One that I purchased? So the eBay guy scammed me. The guy that I purchased it from eBay. No, I paid a little bit over $100 for it. I didn't pay a high price for it. It was the disc drive. The Xbox One worked fine. There was nothing wrong with it other than the disc drive. So it had the advertised memory, and it was the same Xbox that was in the picture, but the disc drive was not working. So the disc drive would not open. So basically, and when I looked at the description on the page, it said fully functional. It did not say broken disk drive, it said fully functional on there. And I contacted the guy. I sent the guy messages. I'm like, hey, why is the disk drive not working? You know, hey, I want my money back. No response, nothing. So the scumbag basically sold me like a broken, you know, Xbox One disk drive in it. And what ended up happening is I complained to eBay, and I said, you know, this guy scammed me, you know, revoke this guy's, like, you know, selling privileges. And eBay basically told me, we will send the guy a message. And if the guy does not respond to you within a week, we will give you back your money. And what happened was, the guy did not respond to eBay within a week, and then eBay a week later basically contacted me saying, we will release the funds, you know, we will give you back your money. And it was eBay who gave me back the money, but eBay took it out of their own money. so it wasn't even the guy's money. And the unfortunate thing about the story is eBay required me to send the Xbox One back to the guy. I shouldn't have been required to send the Xbox One back to the guy. eBay should have probably told me that I should probably keep it. Because the thing about this is, I don't want a broken Xbox One with a disk drive, but if I had to send it to the guy back because there was no other way for me to get my money back. So I sent the Xbox One to the guy back, but if I send the Xbox One to the guy back, he's probably going to use that same Xbox One to scam somebody else. That's what I was scared of happening. So I had no choice. I had to send it back. That was the only way for me to get my money back. But eBay should have told me that I should keep it. They shouldn't have required me to send it back. But that's what it was, that sucked. Did I see your username? No, post it again, Arlo. The thing about eBay is, eBay customer service I would not say is the best for stuff like that. Did I leave a review? I did. Yep. I'm pretty sure I did. I was gonna go back and check, but I think I did. How rich are you? I'm not rich. A lot of people think that I'm rich. I am much better off than what I was, like, years ago. But I'm not rich. Oh, you made a super chat? I'm sorry if I didn't see it, Mark. Let me look. I'm aware of the scumbag's mechanics. My dad is a mechanic and has to deal with their shoddy work regularly. Oh. So your dad has witnessed it. Is your dad like a, you know, the head mechanic there? But thank you, Mark, for the super chat. But, yeah, the thing is, I feel your dad's frustration. I do. Because there are honest people that are mechanics that just want to make a living and help their customers, and they don't want to scam people. And unfortunately, when mechanics scam people, it makes them look bad. Other good mechanics look bad too. And I feel the exact same way about, oh, my dad runs his own business. Oh, well, I hope that if your dad encountered people like that he fired them. But what I will say, though, is that there are a lot of fields out there that people think are typically scumbag jobs. But the thing about this is it's just there's the scammers in general that just make the fields look bad. Like the things, for example, when you think of GTA YouTubers, what do most people think of when they think of GTA YouTubers? You know what they think of? They think of clickbait, GTA 6 garbage. That's basically what they think of. Like, I'll tell you something. Before I was a GTA YouTuber, well, right now I'm mostly, like, all over the place kind of YouTuber, but before I was even a YouTuber, when I thought of GTA YouTubers, do you know what I typically thought of? I typically thought of some clickbait scumbag garbage. That's basically what I thought of. When I thought of a GTA YouTuber, I would typically think of somebody that has millions of subscribers that just constantly posts clickbait over and over and over again. That's basically what I would think of when I thought of GTA YouTubers. And I'm not just talking about one GTA YouTuber, like people think I'm just talking about one. There are multiple GTA YouTubers. There was even an idiot out there who claimed that he had GTA 6 in the past. It was like an idiot who did like unboxings on GTA 6. So there are multiple YouTubers with like millions of subscribers that have done like just the most garbage GTA clickbait, and unfortunately they have given other GTA YouTubers who are honest a bad name. Because then when other people try to look up other channels, they are basically think, I'm not going to look at another GTA channel because I'm going to get clickbaited. So that's basically it, is that it's just bad in general. The GTA YouTubers have just given people bad names in general. Let me see here. Oh, I see your username, Arlo. Okay, Arlo, I will send you a friend request after the stream today. Remember, I'm Polish Mercenary, so if you get a friend request from Polish Mercenary, that is me. Just remember that. Okay. Whoa, what the kind of driver are you? But, what I would say is also is, Do you know what my job is also besides YouTube? Do you know what I also do besides YouTube? I'm also a landlord. So I own a rental property. And when people think of landlords, they typically think of scumbags because there have just been so many scumbag and unreasonable landlords. Like if you just go on YouTube, you can just look up landlord horror stories of just the scummiest landlords that exist. And so because of that there have been this really negative impression given that, like, every single landlord is this scummy, greedy person that does not care about their tenants and only just wants to line their pockets. But I've never pulled crap like that. I'm an honest guy. I have a great relationship with my tenants. My tenants love me. And so I always check up on them. You know, I provide, anytime they need any kind of maintenance, I'm always on it right away. I help them out. I don't raise their rent. I don't do stuff like that. So it's, you know, I haven't even charged late fees. When people have been late, I haven't even charged late fees. So that's, so I haven't even pulled that crap before. So that's, so not every landlord is a scumbag, but people also have to keep in mind that, there's also scumbag tenants out there. There are tenants who actually take advantage of landlords as well. That also happens. Have you ever considered doing a GTA myth hunting series? Well, what I will tell you about me is, I have, when I was playing Bully last night, on the Bully stream, people told me to go to the library, and they told me to go on the Globe, because the Globe has a bunch of random historical facts that are, like, and these historical facts are typically, like, weird historical facts. What I'll say about it is, I'm gonna make a video, probably, like, examining the historical facts on there, and examining on whether they are, you know, real or not, or if they're fake. Enter a boat. Okay. Okay, 5-mile drive, okay. Okay, yes, that is me, Arlo. Why are people grinding documentary? Oh, well, here's the thing. Forged documents pay more than they used to in the past, and if you sell this in, like, a full lobby, you'll make a huge bonus from it, too. So you'll make plenty of money from it as well. I own a house. I own a house that I rent out to tenants. But, you know, I'll tell you guys something, is, I had these tenants before. My first group of tenants that I had were not that great. And I'm on my second group of tenants. My second group of tenants is, like, you know, 10 times better than them. But my first group of tenants, what I'll tell you about that is that, they did two things that can be interpreted as kind of scummy to me. So, what my first group of tenants did constantly, and here's the thing, my first group of tenants, what they would do is they were late on their rent payments multiple times. It probably happened like 4 or 5 times that they were late on it, and they were late by like a week. And here's the thing about this, is you'd probably be thinking that it's some money problems or something like that. But here's what I'll tell you about these tenants. These tenants were rich. They were millionaires. They had way more money than me. And the reason they were renting out my home is because they had a roofing business that they started in Oregon. And they expanded it going out east. And they expanded their roofing business to Montana, Wyoming, and then they came to my state in the Midwest. And they expanded their business there. And they own a house in every single one of those states. And I think they had like 100-something employees. And they had, and so they were renting out my house because they didn't want to, you know, purchase another house in that state while they were, you know, setting up their business. And so, basically, is these guys were late on their rent, like, you know, 4 or 5 times. And they were late by, like, a week. And I would always text them when they were late, and I would just say, like, you know, hey, what's up? Is everything okay? Is there something wrong with the house? why are you late? And she would text me back every time. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm on a business trip in Montana. I'm taking care of like a roofing project out here. It's like, oh, come on. It's just like 5 minutes. You log into your bank account, you wire the money to me. It's like you're renting out my house. This is not fair. It's like imagine if they did a roof for me, right? If they did a roof for me and I took like a week to pay them, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm out on a business trip. I can't pay for the roof right now. Imagine that. That basically is this exact same logic. So that's like, it was getting a bit frustrating, and I did not charge them a late fee. I didn't. They did that multiple times. I didn't charge them a late fee. And then the scummiest thing that they did is there was family drama that was going on between them in their family. It had nothing to do with me. It was just their personal drama. It was just some drama between their family, some stupid crap. And what ended up happening was there was a keypad in my garage. So in the garage in that rental property, there was a keypad in there. And what happened is if you put the number in the keypad, the door unlocks to the house. So it's linked to the door. And what ended up happening is they moved out 2 months prior over there because they had some family drama going on, and they moved out 2 months before their lease was expired. And what they were at least they paid for the 2 months. So they paid for the 2 months of the rent. And what ended up happening is when they moved out, I told them I'm gonna go to the house and I'm gonna check it out to make sure that everything's good. Here, let's see here. I'm gonna plug in my controller just 1 second here. So they moved out 2 months before their lease. They told me that the house was empty, right? And I told them that I'm gonna visit the house, and they told me feel free to come by anytime. And so what ends up happening is this, guys. I go in the house, and whenever I would enter my house, I would typically just enter through the garage. It was just quicker. I was just going right through the garage. I would just hit the keypad, the number, and I would just get into the house really quickly. And guess what? When I tried to put the keypad code in, guess what happened? My password did not work, and they were not supposed to change that password. They weren't supposed to do that. And what ends up happening is I brought over my maintenance guy. So I have this guy that like works for me. And like whenever I need help with any maintenance stuff, he comes on over. I pay him. He'll help fix things around the house for me. He's a really nice guy. He's an honest guy. And what happened is he took a look at the keypad, and he told me, he's like, Patrick, they changed the code on this thing. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, they changed it. And what happened is I texted both of them. I texted the husband and the wife. Remember the family drama that's going on between them. And I texted them. I'm like, did you guys change the code? Husband says, nope, I didn't. Wife says, nope, I didn't. One of them was lying to me. I don't know who it was. One of them changed the code. That code was changed. And they wouldn't admit to it because they were not supposed to change the code. So they wouldn't admit to that either. And that pissed me off because now I couldn't open up the keypad to the garage. And when I brought in new tenants, I wouldn't know what the code is. And the maintenance guy, he tried his absolute best. He spent hours on that panel, hours trying to reset it, trying to change the code. He followed the instruction manual. He tried to reset it. He couldn't. He couldn't get it done. And so at that point is, and I felt so bad for the guy that was like doing my keypad because he spent like 2 hours there trying to like change the code back to what it was, trying to reset it, and he couldn't do it. And what ended up happening was afterwards I was gonna pay him, and then he's like no, you don't have to pay me. I didn't get anything done. And I told him no, I'm gonna still pay you because you still spent 2 hours of your time trying to fix this. So I still paid him. I felt bad for him, but he didn't want to take any money because he said that he didn't fix anything. But I felt bad that he spent like 2 hours trying to fix the keypad and he couldn't do it. But anyways, what ended up happening is I had to pay $100 for a new keypad, and I got it, and he came back and he installed it for me. A nice guy. But anyways, about it is that pissed me off because they changed the keypad code. They weren't supposed to do that, and they basically sent me back a new keypad, and that just annoyed the hell out of me. That crap. So, if you're gonna have your family drama, okay, but, keep me and my property out of it. I know you're living in my house, but, don't damage my house, and don't change codes in my house, and don't tell me the new codes. At least you could tell me what the new code was. They could have at least done that. But nope, they didn't, and that pissed me off. But these new tenants that I haven't had any problems with them, and I've had them for what, like 8 months at this point, and I have not had any issues with them. And when their lease is going to expire in 4 months, And when their lease expires in 4 months, I'm basically going to tell them, you know, you guys want to sign their yearly lease with me, and I'm going to tell them I'm not raising your rent. Rent is staying the exact same, so I don't raise rent. So if they want to stay, I'll give them the exact same lease again for a year. But that was those tenants that I had, like, you know, previously before them, that was just that annoyed me. That was Sorry if I don't understand what you're saying. I don't speak English. I'm Italian. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. How did you get into renting out a property? I wanted to build an extra source of income. So I wanted to build other sources of income. I didn't want it just to be from I didn't want to be dependent on just YouTube as the only income. I wanted to have money from other sources besides YouTube. Yeah, they probably would be, Carter. It's okay, Snake. You don't have to apologize. Watch whenever you want, man. Okay, I'm going to E. I'll take E, letter E. Oh, you made a super chat? I'm really sorry I didn't see it. Let me check. Do I think that GTA 6 should scrap futuristic vehicles? Yes, I do, Lewis. Thank you for the super chat. No futuristic vehicles. I don't mind, like, the military vehicles. I don't mind, like, the attack helicopters or, like, the fighter jet. I have no problem with that in GTA 6. But I just don't want anything futuristic. Something that's not based on a real vehicle, I don't want it in the game. Do you recommend being a landlord over a real estate agent? I was thinking about getting my real estate license and never thought about being a landlord. Honestly, you could do both. You know, there are real estate agents that are also landlords, and if you're a real estate agent, you could learn more things about being a landlord. My real estate agent, he has never actually gotten into rental properties, and he has actually asked me a little bit about that. Anyways, about it is, what I would say is that, being a landlord is easier than being a real estate agent. And, being a real estate agent, what I'll say about that is, is that you are reliant on people to constantly buy and sell homes. That's what you're constantly reliant on. But with a the upsides of being a real estate agent is that you make more money than being a landlord, typically being a real estate agent, unless you own several, you know, rental properties. But typically real estate agents are going to make more money. However, though, real estate agents, their money is very volatile because their money is dependent on whether they're buying or selling properties. So if you have nobody that's buying or selling properties, you're not really going to make that much money. You're going to, so that's, with a landlord, you might not make as much money, but your money is going to be consistent. That's what it's going to be. You're going to get consistently the same amount of money, every single month. So that's what I would say about that, boss. Cerberus couldn't even take out cash in Manhunt. Yup, they couldn't. And but those M4s pissed me off, London. I'll say those M4s are one of the most broken things ever. I'm working on a theory that Bully does not actually take place in either the HD or 3D universes, but it takes place in its own pocket universe. I don't think so. I think it takes place in the HD universe because you do see Bulworth Academy in GTA 4. Thank you, Sean, for the super chat. How do you get started in the landlord field? I would say that if you're going to be purchasing a home, purchase a newer home. Because the mistake that so many landlords make is they always want to buy the cheapest property out there. And that is the worst mistake that you can make as a landlord, because when you buy a bad property, you are stuck with that property. So, literally, I buy, you know, if I'm going to, and I want to buy a second rental property this year, but if I buy properties, right, I'm only going to buy something that's 20 years old at max. I'm not going to purchase something that is older than 20 years. Now, I know I'm going to have people in the comment section that are going to tell me that older houses are also still fine. You can even purchase older than that. But typically, me, I just don't like to take chances like that. I would rather spend a little bit more money and, you know, pay for a relatively newer house and not have to worry about something constantly breaking. And my house is, the house that I purchased for my rental property is from 2012. So it's, you know, it's 12-year-old house at this point. And it's, I've had minimal problems with that house. Minimal. There have been very little to no problems with that house. So I can, there are, like, houses in my, you know, in my town that I live in that people rent out that are literally over 120 years old. These houses are older than these houses were built before World War I. And people buy them because they're really cheap. They're like 4-bedroom houses. Some of these houses are like a little bit over $100,000. So they can buy like a 4-bedroom house that's like 120 years old. That's like over that's $100,000. And these landlords will buy these houses a lot of times. But what I will say about these houses is I just don't want to risk with a house like that, because I am honestly scared that something is going to break. That there's going to be something, bugs in the house, or there's going to be something else. Something's going to break. Something's going to go wrong with the house. So that's why I stay away from those houses personally. Hey Pro, have you heard that New York are adding cameras in the streets that can detect car horns and that will find a driver for honking? No, I have not heard about that, but I'm going to tell you something right now, Runaway 3, that is going to be a disaster. I can tell you that right now. The amount of people that honk in New York City, like literally you can't walk 2 blocks without hearing somebody honk in downtown Manhattan. You will hear honking constantly when you're walking through the streets. And the thing about that is, how is that camera going to differentiate between somebody being a rude driver and being like and actually being like a legitimate over something, like a legitimate honking? Because there are legitimate things you can honk at people over. So that is going to be a disaster. The amount of people that honk at that, and they're going to start getting tickets in the mail, it's going to be a disaster. I'm telling you right now. That's going to be a massive failure. That's when it comes to our jobs here in the USA, we do nothing for free. Yeah, but I mean, what do you mean by that specifically, Kintaro? Can you explain a little bit on your point? You don't have to super chat me again. Can you, like, explain what you mean a little bit more? Fourth Amendment breaking? Yeah, I would. You know, Fourth Amendment protects you from illegal search and seizures, and, you know, it does guarantee you a bit, you know, your vehicle, you could argue that your vehicle is your vehicle is your personal property, and you do have a amount of privacy in your vehicle, and so I could see that argument being made, yeah. Did you play Mass Effect? What are your thoughts? No, I've never played Mass Effect. The only thing I know about Mass Effect is I know it's a futuristic RPG, and I know that people are really pissed about, the ending in one of the games. I think one of the endings. The Fifth Amendment, that's, that will basically, that will protect you from making, what's the thing called, statements that would incriminating statements. That's what it would protect you from. I just use the standard ammo in GTA Online. I use the explosive rounds in my sniper rifle. That's what I will run with explosive rounds constantly. But the other ones, I use regular ammo most of the time. Oh, Manhunt is a, it was a fun game to play. Does FMJ do more damage to players? No, FMJ has more penetration, so FMJ will blow up vehicles faster, and it will also shoot through bulletproof glass. Armor-piercing rounds do more damage to players wearing armor. I do type shot, but we don't really use it anymore. I mean, people still play in the PMSA community, but it's not just, we don't really invite people to it anymore. We don't really use it much anymore. Did Kintaro post again? Let me see. When would you say GTA Online started going downhill? Gun running. Gun running, yeah. With the Pressor Mark 1. Manhunt is kind of like a brutal horror game that Rockstar played. I mean, I guess you could argue it's a horror game. Gun running did blow up my channel. That's the ironic thing about it, yes. For I'm in a situation, there is a professor who harasses my female students, and my higher-ups are forcing me to put female students in his class. I don't feel comfortable doing that. What do I do? If there is... you are in charge of, you're in charge of putting students in classes, and you're saying that there's a professor that's harassing female students. If your higher-ups are not taking that seriously, see if there's somebody above your higher-ups that you can go to, like somebody even higher, like a dean or something like that, and bring it to their attention. And if you already went to them and they're not doing anything, you might want to get the authorities involved at that point. You might want to get the government to do some kind of investigation or something like that. There might be some kind of state agency in your area that deals with like harassment in like the workplace, and also harassment can also be in colleges. So the exact same thing can happen. So I would talk to a lawyer first. Talk to a lawyer. If your higher ups are not taking that seriously, if there's like a professor that's harassing the female students, see if you can like talk to the dean or something like that. And if the dean is not taking that seriously, then what I would do is talk to the lawyer, just like Harpin says here. Talk to a lawyer and then try to get some government agency involved. There might be like a state agency, and I'm pretty sure that in most of those situations that if you report something, that they will keep your name anonymous. So I don't think that they can retaliate at you for the school. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that they keep your name anonymous in most of those places when you report somebody for something like that. So that's what I would do is go to the dean, talk to the dean, and if the dean does not listen to you, if you've already tried that, talk to a lawyer, then go to like some state agency, and the state agency just tell them, like the state agency that's involved in harassment, and just like tell them, like explain the situation to them, tell them what's going on. What are my most hated thing in GTA Online that I despise? The futuristic stuff, yeah. We are not greedy, but when it comes to important stuff like business, it's not free. Used to take a person home and he lives opposite of me. He never paid me gas money. I had to cut him off. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Americans really won't do stuff for free. But there's a limit that there's a limit to kindness. I would say you help people out. You give your coworker like a lift a few times. Nothing wrong with that. But if your coworker is constantly asking you for like a lift, and your coworker is like across town, you have absolutely no obligation to have them to pick them up and drop them off. They're not your responsibility. What I would say also about it is, what I would say about it too is this, is, your coworker. What I would do is I would just, see if your coworker is willing to give you a lift. Just see that. I don't know if you've been here when I would say it earlier, Kintaro, but if you suspect your coworker is taking advantage of you, just ask your coworker for a lift in the future. Just see if your coworker is willing to drive you somewhere, just anywhere, store or whatever, if you just need a lift, because you already did them numerous favors by picking them up and dropping them off when you didn't have to. So they kind of owe you at this point. And just see if your coworker says, and if they say like, oh, I can't right now, I'm busy, just like basically just say to them like, okay, when will you be free? What day will you be free to be able to give me a lift? And if they still give you excuses at that point, they've been using you. Will I ever play Night of the Consumer? Thank you, Eddie, for the super chat. About Night of the Consumer, I know the game that you're talking about. The Night of the Consumer is like a game where it's like a horror game. It's actually it's kind of a scary game. It's a horror game where you actually work in retail, and your manager basically tells you in Night of the Consumer, he tells you that you have to unbox a bunch of stuff. So you have to unbox a bunch of stuff. You stack a bunch of shelves. And what happens is, while you're stacking the shelves, you have to watch out for the customers. So it's kind of like Outlast, where you're like hiding and running away from people, but you're instead running away from the customers. And basically, the customers will just harass you, and they will just ask you for really dumb things. And if you don't help the customer in time, the customer basically complains to the manager, and you get fired. And here's the thing about this, is if you waste too much time helping the customers, and you don't get a chance to unbox all the stuff, stack all the shelves, you get fired by your manager. So it's, you basically get put into your manager's office at night and you get fired. So that was that is what I would say is and the thing about that is that game, believe it or not, that game is very realistic. As ridiculous as that game was, that game is actually pretty realistic. Where the really annoying thing about retail is, have you ever gone to a store, guys? Anybody who has you know, not anybody who hasn't worked in retail before. If you've never worked in retail, have you gone to a store before? Any kind of store, like a big store. Have you noticed how there's like these huge lines at these stores, and it looks like there's not enough people on the shelves, like on the floor. So like when you walk the floor, it's not like it's like there's not enough workers. It's like there's not enough cashiers, and the reason for that is because there isn't. Because a lot of these companies are so cheap that a lot of these retail companies, what they basically do is they basically think that one guy can do the job of 3 people. That's basically how they think. And so that these stores are constantly like short-staffed. And what happens is when customers complain about the shortages, that there's not enough people working, what does the company do? They freak out on the employees. They yell, oh, you're not working quick enough. You're not helping enough. That's basically what the companies do oftentimes, instead of blaming themselves for not hiring enough people, not hiring enough people on the floor, not enough people on the cash register. They basically blame, they basically blame the cashiers, which is just ridiculous, and the people that are working on the store floor. And the exact same thing happens also. Like, I've had it happen before where I'm unpacking something in the aisle when I used to work in retail. Manager gives me like several totes, tells me you have to unpackage all of this before your shift, and I can't get all that done in time because every few seconds somebody's tapping me on the shoulder and being like, oh, I need to know where this item is, show me where this item is on the shelf, show me where this, like every few minutes. It's like, and the thing is, sometimes if somebody needs to find something, then, you know, I'm willing to help them. But sometimes I think that some of those people that are tapping me on the shoulder and asking me where stuff in the store, I honestly think sometimes those people are just complete idiots. And the reason I feel that way is because the aisles have giant signs in them, and like one time there was a guy who tapped me on the shoulder, and he's like, where's the cold medicine? And literally right over my head there was a big sign that said cold medicine. Right there. And I was like thinking to myself, like, can you people not even look around? Can you not even read before you start harassing somebody, like, right away? But that's like what I thought. Sometimes those customers that like ask for help, like, I'm not against helping people. I'm willing to help people. But like if customers like ask for generic stuff and there's like big signs, it's like you're thinking to yourself sometimes, are these people like idiots? Are they generally stupid? Like, but that happens. And honestly, I really hate that. I hate that when people tap me on the shoulder like that and they ask me for help. I hate when people do that. I just don't like it when people touch me like that. I hate that personally. I just don't like it. If you're going to talk to me to say, hey, are you busy? Can you just help me with something? Don't tap me on the shoulder, because I really hate when people do that. But people do that all the time. And that's, I just never like that when people do that. Can you get this item from the back when we tell them we don't have any more of this product? Well, and I know what the response is. The response is, can you still check? I know that's what they always say. Can you still check? That's what it always is. Oh man. Have I ever been recognized in public? Basically, yes. I've been recognized in public 3 times. First time I got recognized in public a couple years ago, I was actually at a bank. And when I was at the bank, I was actually setting up a savings account in my bank. And the teller that was at the bank that was helping me set up the savings account, he basically said to me, wait, your voice sounds familiar. And I said to him, where do you recognize me from? He's like, do you do YouTube by any chance? Like, I do. Do you know my channel? And then he didn't reference me by the professional, but he said, oh yeah, you're that guy that does the GTA money guides. I watch your videos all the time. That's what he said. So he's like, you're the GTA money guide guy. That's what he said. And then, like, a year after that, I got recognized at a Best Buy. I was in a Best Buy, and I was trying to find a new printer. And the guy I asked for help at Best Buy, I asked him, like, you know where the printers are? Because generally at that point, I actually did not know where the printers were, because it was just a massive store. Maybe I'm kind of being a hypocrite in this regard. But I just simply asked him, you know, where the printers were. And did not tap him on the shoulder, though. But anyways, about it is, he showed me the printers, and he told me the aisle, and he just said, are you the professional by any chance? I said, yeah, that's me, I am the professional. He's like, oh, that's really cool, but I have to get back to work, though. I can't talk much. I'm like, okay, that's fine, dude, go ahead. But, that's basically, that was basically it. The third time that I got recognized, This third time, it wasn't really, this third time, the person did kind of recognize me, didn't at the same time. Basically, what the person said, I was in Nevada. So a couple months ago, I was in Nevada, and I was for the Fallout event, the Good Springs thing. I was actually there at Good Springs. And basically what happened was I was a powder ganger for Good Springs. I dressed up as one of the prisoners, and there was a bunch of other people that were dressed up as powder gangers, and we took a bunch of pictures together. I actually have it on my channel that I put up in the community post like a month ago, and I basically told them like, hey guys, I'm gonna put this up on my channel. And they're like, you have a channel? And what is it? I'm like, I'm the professional. And then one guy, they all didn't know who I was, and then one guy from the group was like, oh, you're the professional, that's you, that's right. Like, I should have recognized you. So, like, he didn't recognize me at first, but when I said I was the professional, he knew it, and he knew it. He basically said GTA, do the GTA videos too. So that was, that. Let me see here. But that was, I hope I answered your question there, Quandale. But yeah, what I was going back to about retail, does anybody need help with a heist? I'll help anybody with a heist. Anybody want to do a casino heist? I can help people with a heist. But, anyways, what I was saying, is, about retail, is I've had it happen where I had customers that constantly ask me for help over and over and over again, and the people that constantly ask me for help, because I'm constantly helping people, I'm not able to finish my tasks on the floor. Like, I'm not able to actually finish my tasks of unpacking, and the manager would then say, oh, you know, why didn't you finish this work? Why didn't you get this done? And it was always that, I would always tell him, you know, I have too many customers that I can help. He's like, you can help customers and you can unpack at the same time, which I don't know how I'm supposed to do that when somebody's constantly asking me for help. When and the thing about the manager is, the manager that I had was a scumbag, the first manager, because he would just sit in the office and just manage his lumber business. That's all he would do. He was a pretty wealthy guy. He had a lumber business, and he was just a manager at that store just for some extra side money. And he would just manage his lumber business on his phone. He would just sit there all the time. He would not, he wouldn't even do anything. He would not help. He would not come down on the floor. He was just a, you know, scumbag in general. I did not like him. I thought he was a pretty terrible guy. Yeah, he wouldn't help me. He would get on my case. And I'll tell you this, one time, I remember this, one time when I was working, it was like 8 p.m. I'll never forget this. It was 8 p.m. and it was only me and my manager in the store. We had kind of a medium store. It wasn't like a giant store, but it was only me and the manager. There was nobody else. The store closes at 10 p.m. And so what ends up happening is the manager basically calls me. And he tells me that he wants me to unpack several totes that are in the front aisles. And so I'm on the cash register. And I tell him, you know, how am I supposed to, you know, do the cash register and unpack at the same time? He's like, you can do both. And he wanted me to do both of those. And it gets even crazier. Not only did he want me to unpack those aisles, he also wanted me to face all the shelves in the front. Facing basically means that you're making it organized. You're basically putting everything forward. Anything that's fallen down, you basically organize it. And you would think that that's easy, but you would be surprised how quickly people put things in the wrong place, knock things down all the time. So facing the aisles, unpacking the boxes, and then I get another phone call. Again, the manager calls me. Yeah, Patrick, I want you to vacuum the front of the store. I want you to vacuum the door. How am I supposed to do that on the cash register? Do that all too. All of that. So I'm doing literally vacuuming the entire front of the store, going down the aisles, vacuuming the door room, unpacking several boxes, facing the aisles, and doing cash register at the same time. Do you think that's enough for just one guy to do? And the thing about this is it's so annoying, because the second a customer comes up, like, I run down the shelf, I run down the aisle, I try to get a bunch of stuff from the box, I put it up, I vacuum a tiny bit, and then there's a customer on the aisle. I got in the cash register. I gotta turn off the vacuum. I gotta run back to the front again. I gotta run right back to the boxes. There's another customer. Then I gotta run back. It's annoying as hell. It's so annoying. It was ridiculous. And sometimes when I'm vacuuming, I can't hear when there's a customer in the front. I can't hear a customer when sometimes I'm vacuuming, and they get all pissed and they blame me when it's not my fault. It's the manager who is not who is not staffing enough people in the company. And do you know what gets so ridiculous is the manager calls me again, and what he does is he brings up the throwbacks from the pharmacy, which the pharmacy department had several throwbacks. The pharmacy left at 9 p.m. so they leave 1 hour before closing. The throwbacks are basically stuff that the pharmacy does not want. So they like things that are on the shelf that basically they want the person to put it back on the shelf. So it's like stuff that people don't want. They say, oh, I don't want this anymore. And they just basically put it in a bin, and at the end of the shift, they're supposed to put it away, and the pharmacy did not do that. And the reason the pharmacy didn't do that is because the pharmacist was a scumbag at the job that I worked at, because the pharmacist was like think of basically one of those elitist people who basically think that just because they have a fancy education, they think that they're smarter and better than everybody, and they don't need to do certain things like basic cleaning. That's basically who the pharmacy was. The pharmacist was such a scumbag that what he would do is when he would eat in the break room, he would make a giant mess. Like, he'd bite into like half a pizza and just drop it on the floor. And he would not even put it in the garbage. And if you confronted the pharmacist about this, he'd be like, why don't you put the stuff in the garbage? Like the food crumbs and all the stuff that you like, that you've eaten. And basically, the pharmacist would always say, oh, that's not my job. That's the job of the front store. That's not my job description. That's what the pharmacist would always say. I'm a pharmacist. It's not my job description. I'm in charge of pharmacy. I'm not supposed to be cleaning. That's so even if they make a mess, that's like how scummy the pharmacist was. So the pharmacist did not, want to put away the throwbacks, did not want to do that, and I had to take care of that too. And guess what? All those things that I was doing, throwbacks, putting out all like 4 baskets of stuff back, vacuuming the front of the store and the door room, unpacking the boxes and facing the front of the store, and ringing like 5 things at once. I wasn't able to do all those things. I wasn't even able to finish one of them. And then what ends up happening is 10 p.m. rolls around, the manager, who was nowhere to be seen, just sitting in the office the entire time, comes down on the floor and basically says to me, Patrick, because you weren't able to finish all this stuff and you've been slacking off and incompetent, you can't go home until all this stuff is done now. And so you know what he does? He leaves. He goes home. And he just leaves me there. And the people who were coming in for the next shift were from the truck. So they were unloading the truck after 10 p.m. So he just leaves me there, telling me that I still have to vacuum the store, do all that stuff, and just leaves me there. And I spent an extra 2 hours there. It was like midnight, and by the time it was midnight, and I still wasn't able to finish everything at midnight. And when it was midnight, the assistant manager finds me in the store. The assistant manager did not even know I was there. And the assistant manager is like, what are you doing here still? And I said, the manager said I can't leave until I finish all this stuff. And the assistant manager was like, just go home. Just go home. And I basically, I went home at that point, and that was it. And that was all I say is that manager was a complete scumbag. And that's like a perfect example of like a horror story that's in retail. Perfect example, because it's just these managers that just expect you to do like 5 things at once, and you can't finish them, and then they get all pissed at you and tell you that you're lazy and you're incompetent and that you're not doing your job. And that's they talk to the head office owners, or he was the head, he was the manager. He was the guy that was completely in charge of the store. The district manager wouldn't care. The district manager doesn't care about crap like that. So the district manager was a scumbag as well. So they were just, in general, they were just absolute scummy people. But what I will tell you about this, though, is that I did get my revenge on pharmacy, though. On the pharmacy, because what I would always do for pharmacy is I would do their throwbacks. So the stuff that customers didn't want, whenever I would finish my tasks, I would be nice enough to do that for pharmacy. And that was not my job description. I was not supposed to do that. That was actually part of pharmacy's thing. Remember how the pharmacist would always say, that's not part of my job? I'm not supposed to be doing that. That's not my job title. Well, guess what? What happened was, a couple months after that incident, there was this one supervisor that I knew at my job. And this one supervisor, she wasn't the manager, but she was the supervisor. But about her is she didn't like the manager either, but she was very strict. But here's the thing, the difference between her and the manager is that even though she was very strict, she was not lazy like that manager. And when you needed her help, she would come and help you. So if you weren't doing your job, she would get on your case, and she would be rude to you. But if you actually needed her help, she was there to help you. And that taught me a valuable lesson. That taught me the lesson that being strict does not mean that you're heartless. That's basically what that lesson taught me. But anyways, about her is whenever I did all the tasks that she wanted, I did everything that she required, she always had my back and anything that I needed. And what ended up happening is the pharmacy calls me to the back of the store once. And I go back to the back of the pharmacy, and I was thinking, why are they calling me? Because they never call me to the back. I go to the back of pharmacy, and in front of pharmacy, I see like this big orange puddle, like this orange goo, like on the floor. I don't even know what it is. And I ask the pharmacist, I'm like, what's that? And the pharmacist basically tells me, oh, that's vomit. Customer vomited. I want you to clean it up, Patrick. And you know what? At that point, I lost it. That was like the first time that I probably stood up for myself at that job. And I basically said, nope, I don't get paid enough for this crap. I'm not getting paid a little bit above minimum wage to, you know, to clean up somebody's vomit. And you know what I told the pharmacist? I told the pharmacist, that's not part of my job description. That's your job description. So whenever the pharmacist would not want to clean up his food and just leave it for me to clean all that up, he'd always say, that's not part of my job description. So exact same thing I said to him. I said, you clean it up. It's not part of my job description. I don't care if you have some fancy education. The pharmacist thought that because he has some fancy education, he went to college for being a pharmacist and all this, he thinks that he's just smarter than everybody. It's like, you can be a decent human being and also clean it up. You don't have to, just because people didn't go to college, didn't have the fancy education that you have, that they have to be like literally some puppets for you. And so I end up going back to the front of the store. I tell my supervisor, she asks me what's going on. I tell her the pharmacist wanted me to clean up vomit. And the supervisor, do you know what she says? She says, he wanted you to do what? That's what she says. So remember, I told you she's really strict. And when somebody gets her pissed off, she's gonna go off on them, like really, really badly. And this is New York that we're talking about. That's the thing about this, is when somebody in New York gets pissed at you and New Yorker gets mad at you, they're gonna really drop a bunch of F-bombs. Like, and she went to the back of the pharmacy, just stormed back there, and she was just screaming at them for trying to get me to clean up vomit. And I heard her just drop a bunch of F-bombs. That was like, and honestly, I felt that pharmacy deserved that. Every one of her screaming, I felt they honestly deserved that for just being such scumbags. So that's like one moment that I'll never forget. But yeah, that's what I'll say is there's plenty of horror stories that I have in retail. I think eventually what I'm gonna do is I'm probably gonna make like a video like retail horror stories and just like talk about all my horror stories and just in like one video. But that was like a perfect example of like one of the horror stories that I dealt with. So when I see that game, Night of the Consumer, when you're like that horror game, when you're running around in retail trying to unbox the boxes and like the manager's constantly screaming at you and stuff like that, it's actually not that unrealistic. Anybody that's actually worked in that environment will tell you exactly how toxic retail can get. You know, for being a minimum wage job like retail, you would think that being a minimum wage job would not be that hard and would not be that stressful, but retail very much is that stressful because you have these ridiculous managers that basically expect 120% from you, and they're paying you a little bit above minimum wage, and they expect you to do 5 things at once, and they constantly get on your case. That's what I'll say about them. Let me see here. Does anybody need help with a heist? I wanted to help with a heist. Does anybody need help with a heist? Sony never gonna restock The Last of Us 2 Special Edition, so instead I pre-ordered a new Pulse headset. It's coming in February. Still a win for me. Yeah, I think I have that headset. It's the wireless one, right? Is that the one? I think that's the one. Thank you, Blinded Eagle. Thank you for the super chat. I've been doing both maintenance and cart purchase same time as working at Walmart. Yep. I feel you, Yuritsa. I know. They're constantly wanting you to do more stuff. And honestly, what I'll tell you guys something is I don't know if I should feel dishonest for doing this, but the last like half a year that I worked in retail, when the manager would ask me to basically go out and just like look for carts, I would basically take like half an hour to look for carts, like more than that. And what I would typically do is I would typically go to like a place where I knew there was no security cameras, and I would just sit down and just browse my phone. That's typically what I would do. And I would come back like half an hour later, and I would just say, oh, the carts were far away. They were like several blocks away. I had to get them. And that's what I would typically do, because I just felt like I was enough of being disrespected, and that was just it. I was gonna quit anyways, but I just wasn't taking it seriously anymore at that point. That's just basically what I was doing. It was because I was like, you know, I'm just gonna come back to the store after I get carts, and they're gonna have me running around again. So that's just, I might as well just stay out here, text a little bit, and I could take the cold. I can sit in the cold for a long time, so it doesn't matter to me. So that's just let me help Rex here. But I'll tell you something. I worked with this woman, an older woman once, and you know, she told me, she gave me a really good piece of advice that I'll never forget. And she told me that if you pay somebody $10 an hour, you're gonna get $10 an hour worth of work. And she was 110% right on that. Is what you know what I've always been so fascinated about with these retail companies? It's always interested me so much. I always found it fascinating that these retail companies pay their workers just a little bit above minimum wage, and sometimes they just pay them minimum wage, and they think that when they pay them a little bit above minimum wage, they think that their workers are going to go above and beyond, and they think that they're basically going to have like perfect 5-star best customer service in the entire planet. That's basically what these companies think. They think, oh, you know, pay them a little bit above minimum wage. Oh, they're really going to work hard. They really will. So, you know, you can't pay somebody a little bit above minimum wage and expect them to go 110% for you. It's not going to happen. What I've heard is work like your wage. Yeah, and the thing about this is, what I would say is, one of the best pieces of advice I have for people is, you know, work in your job description. That's what it is. Check what your job description is exactly and work in that specifically, because you are not required to do more than what you're supposed to be doing. I'm not talking about like the pharmacist being a scumbag earlier, because that's just basic hygiene. You can clean up after yourself. But I'm talking about like in general, like if your boss tries to make you do extra tasks that are not part of your job description, they have to compensate you more for that. They have to. And so you just you basically look at what your job description is, and if you just follow your job description and you don't do more, you don't do less than that, they can't really give you problems for that. So that's what I would say is, you know, just follow your job description and don't do more than what your job description requires you. I know some people are going to think, oh, if I do more than what my job description requires me, I'm going to get promoted and I'm going to work my way through the company. But in retail, it's not worth even getting a promotion, because of the fact that in retail, you're going to get paid like an extra $1 or $2 an hour, and they're going to expect you to do 20 more things as supervisor, so it's not even worth getting the promotion to supervisor. Yeah, I guess. But Joey, like, an example would be, like, don't come in on your days off. Don't do that. Because, like, you know what I hate so much? What's personally pissed me off so much is there have been so many times where I have been asked to come in on a day off. Like, sure, I get paid, you know, for coming in on a day off, but I don't want to work on my days off. I want to have a day off to myself. And so I constantly get called in on days off because somebody does not show up to work, somebody does not come into work, and those people don't get punished for not coming into work. But then I say, you know, I don't want to come in today, and they guilt trip me. They basically think like, they act like you're responsible for them because you don't want to come in on your day off. Like you're responsible for the store falling apart and stuff like that. It's just a joke. I'm enjoying your content. Take care, man. Thank you, Frankie. Take care as well, man. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoy my content. Thank you, man. Hi, Professional. Thank you for all the help. Do you know my country, Libya? Yes, I do know a bit about Libya. I know about Libya's history as well. I actually talked a bit about Libya's history in my SOCOM videos. I don't know if you've seen my SOCOM videos. I did a SOCOM video, which there was, in SOCOM 2, a huge portion of the game takes place in Algeria, which Algeria is a neighboring country, but in that part, I was actually talking a bit about Libya in that part as well. But yes, I know it's in North Africa. But what I will tell you guys here is, I've asked the, I've asked the chat this before, but anybody who hasn't heard me ask this question before. Retail companies in retail, they constantly break they constantly break the law. What people don't know is that retail companies, stores, constantly break the law all the time. And there's one law that pretty much the vast majority of retail stores break. But most workers actually don't know about it, that they're breaking the law on that. And my store did it as well. Now, does anybody know what law they're breaking here? What most retail companies, what law they break? What is the most common law they break? Does anybody know in the chat here? Break laws. That's exactly it. Overtime, they also scam you out of overtime too. If they want you to work extra, they have to pay you overtime. If you're going, I think it's like over 40 hours, that's what it is, they have to pay you overtime. If they say no overtime, then you tell them no extra help. If they say no overtime, then you tell them no extra help. That's what it is. You walk out. That's it. If you're not getting paid overtime, you walk out. But as for the breaks are the #1 thing that companies violate, because when you don't get paid for overtime, it's a lot easier to prove that you're getting scammed out of your overtime than the break thing. The break thing is a lot easier for them to get away with that, but they can still be punished for that. But basically, what companies break the law with breaks all the time. What they will do, and I've seen it happen several times, is when you try to go on break, if you're working like an 8-hour shift and you're 4 hours in, you try to go on a break, what happens is they will guilt trip you. They will guilt trip you, and they will basically say to you, oh, you know, you can't go on break right now, you know, go on break later, you know, we're busy right now, we have a lot of customers on the floor, like, you know, we need you. If you go on break, we're all gonna get left behind because of you, and we're all gonna be behind on our work. That's what they typically do. They guilt trip you. They try to make you feel bad for going on break. And it's like, there's a lot of customers on the floor. Okay, how is that my problem? You know, if I go on break, you know, you're gonna have more work to do because of me. Well, the solution to that would be hire more people on the floor. Hire more people. Don't be so cheap and only hire a few people on the floor for the first place. And they try to guilt trip you. They try to prevent you from going on break. They're hoping that you just keep working, that you don't go on break at all. They're breaking labor laws by doing that. Every state has its own labor laws, but generally every state across America has its own break laws. Some of the break laws are different by each state, but each state has its own break laws. So if you're living in the United States, I would research exactly what your break laws are. Look up exactly what kind of break you're entitled to after how many hours, and check to see that your company is specifically enforcing that. Because you can call your state agency on them, your labor board, if they are doing that. And that's the one thing that I regret I didn't do. I should have done that. When I worked in retail, I should have done that. I should have called up the labor board. I should have done that. I should have been like, you know, they're violating the labor laws. They're constantly guilt tripping people for going on break. And the thing about this is, if the manager will tell you, usually when they try to guilt trip you for going on break, the manager usually says the same thing. The manager usually say, oh, I don't go on break. That's what the manager usually says. Oh, I don't go on break. Well, that's you. That's what I would say. You don't go on break, but I'm entitled to a break. I've been working. I'm hungry. I want to go get something to eat. I want to take a break. And the managers, when they say that I don't go on break, what are they doing most of the time? The managers are sitting in their office. They're sitting in the office on their computer, the store managers. And so they're eating while they're doing their work. Or at least they're sitting down and they still get something to eat. I can't eat while I'm walking on the floor in the store. So when that gets me pissed off when I hear managers say that, when they're all like, oh, you know, well, I don't take a break. Well, yeah, but you sit down constantly in the office all the time. They just use that as an excuse to guilt trip you. Do you think they'll stop support on GTA Online when GTA 6 comes out? Yes. Why don't you just start the heist? You can just start it, dude. We don't really need an extra person. 3 people, you can pretty much get most of the loot. Let's just do it. Hey, Pro, saw another comment you made. I think it was Master Chef. What is your opinion on Judge, Joe Bastian Natch? The one who's overly rude? Yeah, here's what I will tell you about him. I have watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay. Are you ready? You can start the heist, dude. I'm ready. I've watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay, and what I'll tell you about that Joe guy. Oh, you left the heist setup? What happened? Anyways, I've watched a lot of Gordon Ramsay. That Joe Bastianich guy. Oh, what the? Oh no. Hang on. I'm gonna join this heist here. I'm just gonna help him with this heist here. I haven't seen the Joe Bastianich guy a lot, but I have seen a bunch of clips of him. And what I will say about him, why does everyone keep leaving? Is there is a difference between Gordon Ramsay being rude and Joe being rude. Because Gordon Ramsay will be rude when you give him a reason to be rude. When you're not doing what you're supposed to be, when you're messing up food, when you're doing dumb things, you know, think of Gordon Ramsay as basically a drill sergeant for cooking. That's pretty much what he is. Is he strict? Does he yell? Does he want perfection? Yes. But he also wants it for your benefit, and he wants everything to be successful. That's pretty much what Gordon Ramsay is. He's a drill sergeant of food, when you really think about it. But the difference between him and Joe Bastianich is just an a-hole to be an a-hole. That's pretty much what he is. Is that Joe will rip on everybody for just really dumb things. And the thing about this is Joe will make comments like he'll say things like, oh, you should never cook again. You know, you're a disgrace, you know, things like that. Gordon doesn't even say stuff like that. Like, he'll get pissed off at them, he'll call them an idiot, but he'll never be like, give up on your dreams of cooking. Gordon will never do things like that. So Gordon still, like, yells at people, but he pushes them to be better and improve. Where that Joe guy, he just basically tries to break people down and just basically tries to ruin them and destroy their dreams. That's why people hate Joe, but they like Gordon, because Joe is basically just a scumbag to be a scumbag. Like, there is the garlic bread episode on Master Chef. If you ever seen the garlic bread scene, is when Joe starts going after this one guy that he made like some Italian dish, and he starts basically saying to him, oh, you shouldn't have put this garlic bread here, this is bad. And then Gordon steps in, and Gordon's like, no, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it. And then him and Gordon to start getting into an argument. So that shows you that Joe is just there just to try to create a scene. He's just there to just basically instigate and just be just in general an a-hole. And the thing about Joe is, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that Joe is even a chef. I think he's only a restaurant owner. So Gordon is an actual chef. So that's what I'll say about him.
Alright, next stop, the diamond mine. The driver's gonna torch this car as soon as you're inside. We'll set up the getaway cars along your escape route. I gotta tell you, it feels good to be back in the driving seat. Metaphorically speaking, of course, actual driving aggravates my hives. Anyways, the calm before the storm. Running through contingencies and backup plans in my mind. Feeling sweat patches creep down my back. Oh yeah, I've missed this.
Okay, here we go. What do I think of Maury Kibbutz? Maury is just a scumbag.
Here we go. I've been hoping you'd go for the dramatic option, and you didn't disappoint. Tunneling right under the vault without triggering their seismometers wasn't easy or cheap, but neither are we. Are we, huh? Okay, now you're one well-placed explosive away from walking right. Have you ever seen a private army of well-armed Texans with orders to shoot on sight? All right, everyone, head into the tunnel and we're just
Wait, what are you talking about, NBA? I talked about that, like, that was, like, probably, like, an hour ago. I was talking about the Tenants. Your old management was a jerk for saying you suck when you're not on your day off. Yeah, so, what people don't know what Ryan is saying right there. Ryan's talking about another horror story that I told before the stream. What basically happened is, this is like the first month that I started working there, first or second month that I started working in retail. And this, the manager that was just a complete scumbag that I was ranting about earlier, what he basically did was, there was the group of people at my job that they would complete a contact mission. What the? Okay, there was a group of people in my job that constantly would not show up to work. They just wouldn't show up to work. They would constantly call out. They were just slackers. They didn't even give a reason. They would just not show up. They wouldn't even call up to say that they're not coming in. And it got really annoying. And I would constantly like cover their shifts. It was getting ridiculous. And I constantly kept getting guilt tripped into covering their shifts. And I was getting sick of it. And I only started working there and at that time. But yet I was constantly covering the shifts. And there was one day I was supposed to be working like 3 days that week, 3 or 4 days that week. And what ends up happening is I get called in an extra 3 days. So I get basically working for like 6-7 days straight and multiple shifts. And that one day I finally made plans with my friends. So I made plans to hang out with my real life friends. And my manager calls me again after I've already covered numerous shifts for him. I've covered 3 shifts for him that week for people that just haven't showed up to work. Instead of being grateful to me, I tell him that I can't come in to work today because my friends want me to hang out. It was not a day I was supposed to be working. I made a promise with my friends that I was going to hang out. He was trying to call me in on another one of my days off because somebody did not show up to work again. And I tell him, you know, I made plans with my friends. And you know what the manager tells me? The manager says to just cancel the plans. I said, no. I made plans with my friends. I haven't seen my friends in some time. I'm going to go hang out with my friends. And he says to me, you're not going to come in today? I said, no, I made plans with my friends. You know what he says to me? He says to me, you suck, and just hangs up on me on the phone. So I can't come in on my day off because I made plans with my friends. He expects me to cancel my plans with my friends, and then I don't come in, and he says that I suck. That's like, did he fire you for that? No. He probably didn't fire me because it would have been a disaster because nobody else was coming in besides me. It was,
Okay, now it's a big door, so don't be stingy with the explosives. And get clear before you push the button.
Yeah, you are right. Little advice about work. Put yourself before others, and never break your back for people who don't care about you. You should always look for yourself first in work, but there's nothing wrong with helping other people at your job, too, and being nice to them. But always, you know, prioritize yourself in those situations. You are right.
Cut it out of the frame and pack it up. I'll keep you updated on the gas.
Thank you, Nikki, for the super chat, and thank you for the other one. Wish I could play with you. Busy with YouTube and my video projects, but another heist will be ready next Sunday that I need your help with. But here is a donation, pro. Have fun. Thank you, Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Drill them if you've got the time, but I can't promise you there'll be anything good inside.
Oh, this is the Manhunt. Yeah, this is the Manhunt, poster. We just finished Manhunt 2. Go, put this on. Drill 4 of these in the meantime while that's... And just 1 second, I will look at the super chats in just 1 second, guys. I'm just focused on just getting this stuff in here first. One more box here, and I'll get the last painting. Still plenty of time. Okay, we got this here. We're good. Oh, from Strong Heart. Let me see here. Hey, Pro, just curious, did Elizabeta ever cross paths or meet Dimitri or Pegorino? No, he didn't.
Gas incoming. 10 seconds.
Thank you, Strong Heart. Is your name a reference to Strong Heart from the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles?
Looking good. Get all that across the finish line and we're home and dry.
Okay, here we go.
Need to sync your
Wipe.
card swipes on the way out too.
There we go, got it. Okay. Quick question, still work at retail? No, haven't worked in retail for 4 years, thank God.
They've reinforced the security room and that's your only way out.
You said the governor from The Walking Dead was a psychopath, but would he be more of a sociopath since he cared for his daughter? No. Because you could argue that he didn't really care for his daughter. Because if he truly cared for his daughter, he would have basically put her out of her misery. Because he was a zombie. That was just, it was just, the whole thing was just creepy. So I would say the governor was a psychopath, though. Oh, it's a reference to a wrestling trio that's no longer act together. Oh, okay. Oh, crap. Okay. Would I still be working in retail if I hadn't gotten popular on YouTube? No. I would have eventually quit, too. Oh, no. Guys, go to the roof. The roof is actually better to go to when you're doing aggressive. A lot of people don't go to the roof ever on Casino, but when you're doing aggressive, roof is actually better to go to. Because you can just snipe all the guards that are on the ground. This way. Come on. Go to him then. When I made my aggressive casino heist guide like 4 years ago, I said roof is always better than aggressive. Always better. I don't know why people don't want to do roof on aggressive. It was, No, he didn't bound. Okay. Clear a path now here. Damn, how is he still alive after all that? Oh, there we go. See, this is why Roof is better on aggressive. Okay. Okay, guys, follow me. I'm gonna go first. Jump here and go in that road right there. Oh, I missed one guy. Crap. Oh, crap. Okay, I missed him. He was the only guy I missed. Okay. Yeah, but use that strategy. If you do aggressive, just get on the roof, snipe all the guards, and just parachute down here. Because when you're unaggressive, when you're gonna get out regardless, you're gonna get shot either way. So it's, almost forgot. How's your mental health? My mental health is good. It's better than what it was. I might make a video, an update, because it's been a year since I made that video on my mental health. Okay, let's go. Let's go. There's no advantage of aggressive. Well, the advantage is you can stay in the gas for longer. Oh god, there's so many cops. Bro, I made a super chat. I'll look in just 1 second, dude. I'm just trying to get away from the cops, but thank you. I'll just look in 1 second, Blinded Eagle. Crap, tire. Hold tight. Well, thank you, cop, for giving me a boost. Okay. Be really careful with my driving because I got a tire that's popped. Crap. Favorite game of 2020? Easy, Ghost of Tsushima. Okay, I'm gonna go off-road here. Switching cars. This car doesn't have pop tires. I wasn't driving bad, Brandon. I was actually driving cautiously because I had one tire popped, so I had to be careful. That's why I was driving like that. Go around the military base. Yeah, we will. Just 1 second here. But we're gonna, if we lose the cops, we can just go right through the GPS route. We don't need to. Oh, crap, hold on. How did I still not lose the cops? You've got to be kidding me. This is why GTA 4 cops were so much better. Like, look at this. Okay. See that? That was ridiculous. That's why GTA 4 cops have always been better. One more? Do you sometimes get DM from PS5 players? Yeah, people message me on PlayStation. Wow, what's up, Nick? Okay.
Good work. You lost them. And listening to their channels, they are pissed. I'm not one to be premature. I'm not whatever they told you, but hear me when I say that we are on the verge of pulling off the single greatest feat of organized criminality this city has ever seen.
Wait, does he need a lift over there?
Off the top spot. But that doesn't matter. We are seconds away from the history books, my friends.
Oh, thank you, thank you, Young,
It looks like a good call.
thank you, Young Dead, thank you for the, super chat.
Someone say tequila. Almost there. Find the buyer, and this is a done deal.
About Liu said that Libya used to be so big back in the day, but the 2011 Arab Spring destroyed them, and now Libya is in ruins. You also stated how their flag was different in the bully playthrough. Yes, Libya's flag used to be a solid green. That's what it used to be. Now I think it's like 3 different colors. That's what I think it is. Want to help if you're gonna make a new GTA guide or something. Okay. Right now at the moment, I don't have any plans to make any new GTA guide unless there's like a new event week that's really good. But, I would say that Libya is Libya is probably one of the biggest disasters of American foreign policy in, like, a very, very long time. Because what happened was, in Libya, the United States was basically supporting all these rebel groups, and the CIA was arming all these rebel groups, and they didn't know exactly who these rebels were. And a lot of these rebels, Gaddafi was a bad guy, he was a dictator, you know, don't get me wrong, but the problem is that the rebels were supporting, the rebels that the US government was supporting, a lot of them didn't want democracy, they weren't fighting for democracy, they just wanted their own dictatorship. They didn't like Gaddafi's dictatorship, and they just wanted to replace it with their own dictatorship. And so they basically supported a lot of these unstable rebel groups that had links to terrorist organizations, and Libya basically today is a giant mess. It's like, you know, I remember, like, you know, what was it, 2011 is when Gaddafi died, and the U.S. government was, like, claiming Libya is going to be this bastion of democracy now, and, like, you look at the country, like, 12 years later now, the country's in civil war 12 years later, it has 2 governments, the country's been ripped in half, it's just, its economy has completely collapsed, it's just, like I said, it's one of the biggest American foreign policy disasters, the Libya intervention. Do something, see here, I missed Blinded Eagle's super chat, right? I'm sorry, will I play Mirror's Edge at one point? Maybe. I used to play that game a little bit on the PS3 back in the day, but I never finished it. Always upgrade the getaway cars for Casino Heist. Yeah, Eric, that is a good idea. It should be upgraded. Yeah. Will I play one of the Uncharted games? And thank you for sponsoring my channel, Eric. It's nearly 4 years at this point. I do appreciate it, Eric. Thanks, man. I've been using the Juggalos. I think that's what they are. That's my favorite getaway car. Will I play the Uncharted games? Thank you, Matoda. I might one day. I've never actually played them, so I might one day. Do you have any tips for building strong friendships? Friends are always going to be there. The easiest way to tell who your friends are is friends will be there for you in your best and worst moments. If your friends are only there for you in your best moments but aren't there for you in your worst moments, they're not your friends. That's what I would say about it. That's it's sometimes it's hard to build uh, good lasting friendships. But when you have a really good friend, don't ever let go of that, because that's a friend that you have for life. They'll always have your back, and make sure you have their back as well. Um, the flag was a solid green in the past, yes. Would I ever be down to play the Tomb Raider games? Favorite channel right now, me and my shotty both mess with you heavy. Keep doing you pro. Ignore all the hate. Well, thank you, young dead. Thank you for the super chat. Maybe I could play the Tomb Raider games one day. I'm down to play Uncharted. I could go to Tomb Raider next one day too. Yeah. I didn't know what Shati, what is that? And my last comment. Oh, thank you, Kentaro. Thank you. Am I gonna play MH2? What's MH2? Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Kentaro. Oh, it means girlfriend? Oh, okay, I just didn't know what it meant. Uh, I'm opening to playing Manhunt 2 one day. Yeah, I might play Manhunt 2 soon, actually. The only thing, isn't Manhunt 2 way more violent than Manhunt 1? It is, right? And what... It's just, I'm just worried about getting in trouble from YouTube. Bro, on this day 100 years ago, Lenin's died. It's an important moment for me, being a Russian, German, American. Well, Lenin, Lenin is probably one of the most... he is, Lenin, like I said, is not he's not a good person, but in that time period, is both the Tsar and Lenin sucked. So he really did not have any good Russia did not really have any good leaders at that point in history. And the few good leaders that actually did exist were mostly killed by the new Soviet government that existed afterwards. What are the other crime games? What are other crime games by GTA? I played Max Payne, Mafia Definitive Edition, Noah Saints Row, Sleeping Dogs, Godfather, Scarface. Yeah, Sleeping Dogs, Scarface, Godfather. What else have I played? There's Manhunt. There's a bunch of crime games I played. Kane and Lynch series is also great too. Yeah, that's good too. You don't have game sound? Oh, because I turned it off because the music is back on now. Will I ever try GTA RP? People have requested I try that for some time. I would have to download GTA 5 on PC. Yeah, check out the report on Manhunt 2. It was a crazy game. I'll look into that. Def Jam Fight for New York. That's actually one game people have requested I play. I'll look into that definitely. I played Def Jam Icon, but I never played Def Jam Fight for New York. Are we getting a Lucia cosplay for GTA 6? Yeah, thank you for the super chat, Matoda. Uh, I will a little bit later tonight. I'm gonna get something to eat now, but a little bit later tonight I will, Arlo. My sister sadly passed away in the hospital 5 days ago. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, Allied Nation. You have my condolences. Are you going to play Dead Rising 2? Yes, I will play Dead Rising 2, but I want to play Dead Rising 1 again. That's what I want. I want to play that game again. I'm 29 years old. I'm French. Chow Chow, pronounced shoot. Pronounced frun shoo shoo. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Kintaro, for the super chat. I will play Red Dead Revolver one day. Yes. What are your thoughts about the things Mr. Beast does? I don't think that he. I don't know why people consider him like a bad. I don't know why people consider him like a bad person. He helps people. He makes money helping people, sure, but he still helps people. I don't watch him personally, but LA Noir Pro? Yes, I might do that one day. Yeah, I'm sorry for your loss, Allied. You have my condolences again. Manhunt 2 has a censored version, I believe. Oh. Yes, Arlo, I do. Will I ever do a wardrobe tour? Would love to see it. Yeah, I could show my my closet one day. I have like a lot of stuff in there. My favorite GameCube game when I was a kid was Super Mario Sunshine, where my friend would let me borrow his GameCube and I would play that. I had a lot of fun with that. Manhunt 1 is banned in Australia, but Manhunt 2 isn't banned. Isn't Manhunt 2 more violent than Manhunt 1? How does that make any sense? That's why you have stupid politicians that make laws like that. The PS2, PSP version of Manhunt have an alternate ending. Oh, they do? It's only the PS2 version has that alternate ending, Sean? PS2 and PSP? I'll have to get into the PS2 version then. Thank you, Harvey, and thank you, Sean, for those super chats. Yeah, stream's gonna end in a moment here. When is your next bully stream? Maybe sometime this week. Okay, so I guess I'll be going here, guys. I don't know. He just appears in the Sandy Shore sometimes. He drives around. I don't know. Guess I'm gonna see what's in the fridge. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. Thank you guys for thank you guys for watching the stream. If you guys did enjoy the stream, do drop a like. And again, allies, I'm sorry for your loss, and you have my condolences on that. Why is California so expensive? It is very thank you, Matoda, for the super chat. California is pretty expensive for a number of reasons. One, there is so many people that live there, because if you have so many people that live in such a, usually like the big cities like, you know, San Francisco and Los Angeles, if you have a lot of people that live in like one big area, property is going to be more expensive. But also California is also more expensive because of the high taxes, because there's really high taxes on properties. Especially when there's high taxes on properties, what's going to happen is property values are just generally going to go up. So they're going to go up, and they don't have enough housing that is being built. So the really high taxes are also to blame for the really expensive properties. That can because you can see wherever when you look at states that have really low property taxes, typically property values are much lower. But where you have states where have really high property taxes are also properties themselves are more expensive, and also the rent is also more expensive. Wait, what's wrong, Nikki? What do you mean? Uh... Okay, my game isn't frozen. No, it's not. Well, I kind of saw that coming, Michael. I think co-op would be cool in GTA 6, but I can't picture it, honestly. But I guess I will be going here, guys. Oh, I'm telling people how to send chat while the stream is ending. Sorry for the inconvenience. Oh, it's okay. Nikki, thank you for the super chat. Okay, so I guess I will be going here, guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me, and if you guys enjoyed the stream, do drop a like, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day, guys.